Tom's Keelan. I go by Tommy, the Henderson District Manager here in Nevada. I've been doing this since 2015, and Evan's been my manager ever since. He's going to give you guys the goods today. And this is probably one of my favorite first events that I ever attended. So make sure you take a lot of notes because it's going to allow you to sell a lot more Cutco, get a crap ton of more recommendations.
Nice.
Almost fell. Anyway, hello everybody. So my name is Christina. I lead the North Las Vegas district team, and I actually have only worked with Evan for 3 years. I actually started in the Virginia division, but if I'm being honest, he is my favorite division manager that I've worked with. He focuses a lot on personal. Yeah, I said it. Don't tell Rich. But yes,
Send him a text right now.
Nope.
Christina just said this.
But he is, focuses a lot on personal growth and development. And I learned a lot from him. I feel like I've grown the most since I've been working with him personally. So you guys, take a lot of notes. As everybody has said, make sure you have an extra pair of socks on because he's going to knock them off in this event.
Extra pair. Hey, Christina, thank you so much. Really good. You also probably, it's all recorded too. So I'm going to send this to Rich as well. That's probably more effective. All right, everybody. Hey, welcome. There's a few faces on here that I've seen before, and some of you are on the San Diego team. So that's wonderful. It's great to see you again. There's several new faces on here for me that I've never had the pleasure of meeting yet. So I just want to introduce myself to all of you and welcome you to the Sldm. My name is Evan Keller. I'm the division manager for the South Coast Division. I'll kind of explain a little bit today about what that means. But I first just want to say, hey, welcome. And if you are here, it means something significant. So what's important is not to miss any kind of leadership events that you get a chance to attend. This isn't just another Zoom call. So I basically told all my managers, I said, hey, Vanessa, or any manager, I said, hey, invite anybody that you believe really wants to kick butt at the job, you believe has already shown or they have and possess some potential leadership traits and qualities. And then my biggest factor is send me people that you like and that you would like to build with in your organization. Now, today I'm going to talk about all different kinds of roles that you can do. So Vanessa, I'll talk about something that's really going to light you up where you're like, I didn't even know that was available, but like I'm shooting for that target. And then it might be totally different for Melissa, and then it's different for Irene. My big thing is that for a lot of you to experience some aha moments, those light bulb moments that we talk about all the time, for you to walk away from this event and go, now because many of you, your fast start contest is over unless you have extra days. Some of you are in your fast start contest right now. I understand some of you have been on the job for a little while, but you might have understood and going, well, I don't know where I want to shoot next. I don't know what I want to go for. I don't know what now. My fast start's over. What now? What do I do? So I want to make sure that everybody has a nice line that's drawn for them, at least for the future, the near future. So you have some targets that you can shoot for. So again, there will be a lot of notes to be shared today, definitely. So get them all down, but don't sweat it. Munachiso, if you like miss a slide or something like that, I'm going to share all this stuff with you guys later so you can review it and things. But for the time, we are scheduled to go from 3 to 5 today. And this is my one favorite event that I run in my calendar as the division manager for sure. So my role running the division is this, especially for those of you in the San Diego office, this is where you actually get to see what I do. Because you might even wonder, Irene's like, okay, who is it, Evan, or is it Jeremy? Or I don't understand. Like, okay, Jeremy's the guy that I do the coaching with. That makes sense. Okay, Evan runs the division. Well, what the hell does that mean? So I'm going to really tell you today, like, this is literally what I do. This is what I'm looking for. These are my goals. This is what we're trying to build in the South Coast Division. And then Michael, today, what I'm going to challenge you to do is communicate with your manager what you're fired up about. So that's going to be one of the things you're going to hear me say that a few times. In fact, during the event, I would encourage you on WhatsApp to send something to your manager. I'm excited about this. What about this? Put me on the radar for this. So that way they know. None of your managers are mind readers, right, Donovan? I have no idea what you want in this business unless you communicate it effectively to us. So we don't know what you want. So please make sure that you do that. And Melissa, you might even hear about something. You're like, I don't even know if that's something I want to do, but I want to have the conversation with Christina. I want to start that conversation. And that's something that's really important as well. And clearly, I'm looking for more leaders in our organization. So for today, anytime I run an event, this is one of my favorite emojis that I use all the time. Let's be 100% engaged. You know, while you're going to be here, Sabrina, be here, right? If you, wherever you are, be there, right? Which is a good thing to do and be focused during this time. This is what we're trying to build. And this is what I think about what good leaders do. So this is the sales leadership development meeting. right? So we're trying to create more leaders in our division, and they're really going to do three things, and they're going to seek best practices. They're hungry for growth, and they have personal clarity. So this is why you're here today. The first one is to seek best practices from the division manager, right? So I've been in the business now for going into my 18th year here pretty soon, and know a lot about the best practices of the business. So that's why Sabrina wants to show up today. It's like, I want to show up and learn from Evan. Evan's at $43 million in sales. Like, he's probably going to be able to teach a thing or two. And I also sold Cutco. I did all of your job for 4.5 years, all the way when I was in college. So I sold Cutco. Hannah, I worked with countless numbers of customers. You know, those no sales you've had before? I've had like infinity no sales. You know, I've had tons of them. I've had bad phone times, but I can relate to you because, Melissa, we only promote from within. And that might be a good place to start in your notes, is we only promote from within. And I think that's a really motivating thing to know, that it's like anybody that's in a leadership role above you, so to speak, in the hierarchy has been there before. So Irene, we can relate to the no sale. And I also know how to celebrate with an ultimate set properly as well too, you know? So I think that's good. But we want to make sure we have people that are hungry for growth. So that also, Michael, might be why you're here too. You're like, I want to grow, I want to learn. So obviously have your pen and paper ready. And then also to strike up some personal clarity. So I just alluded to that earlier. So going, hey, Sabrina, you finish your fast start contest and you go, well, that's good. I'm almost at dirty 30. I'm knocking on the door. Okay, well, then what happens when I get there? And what direction do I point after that? And what's going to be my next target that I'm shooting for? So when you have personal clarity, it makes it easier to make better decisions, right? So everybody probably has 2021 goals, things that they're shooting for. And if you're really committed to them, the most powerful two letters you can say and are really important to learn as a human being is how to say no, right? I don't know if anybody can relate, but a lot of times we say yes too much. Yes to everything, people pleasing, right? They call on you. Can you help me, right? Jordan, can I get some time? Can you and we just want to help, right? We want to say yes, but ultimately it's really valuable to say no if it's going to serve you and your goals. But Irene, it's really hard to say no if you don't have personal clarity, right? So if you're working hard towards something, it's easier to say no to a Friday night in the town if you got demos all day on a Friday, for example, right? Or you really are focused on your grades in school if you are a student and you want to make sure you go, hey, I probably cut back on a few nights out and I need to make sure that I study for my test. So those would be examples of saying no, but personal clarity really helps in this regard. This chart, no reason to put down any notes here. This is basically just a fancy way to show everybody that there's a difference between passive learning and active learning. So I mentioned, hey, Michael, you're going to get all the slides from me. You're going to get everything today, all the content. I'm not even worried about that. But what's most important is execution, right? So I would really encourage you to be engaged today. So as you're taking notes and something really hits you or a light bulb moment happens for you, circle that, star that, because part of our division culture is not only am I going to have you post those up, but what are the things, Jordan, for you that really hit for you today, or you have questions about, or you want to delve deeper into with your manager so you can refer back to those a little bit later on. So the more engaged you can become, or you're interacting in the chat or something like that, is definitely a great way to do it. So this is the sales leadership development meeting. This is for individuals, like I mentioned, that have leadership skills already or are looking to gain those. And this is really the meeting for me to, who should I pay attention to? Hello, Dominic, by the way, nice to meet you here. Who do I need to pay attention to? Dominic, right? And I'm sure you're probably going to say, yeah, Evan, you should pay attention to me. But I'm going to lay out very clearly today, here's how you get my attention in the organization, right? Here's how you get promoted. Since I'm the one that promotes really all of our assistant managers, branch managers, district managers, I run our leadership academy program, work with our Cutco sales professionals and such. So I'm going to talk about how to do that. These are really my objectives of today. Number one, I want to dramatically increase your Cutco sales. Anybody want to sell more Cutco, get more recommendations, increase your average order? So you're going to get that today. That's actually really going to be like the second half of today's training, is going to be really helping you sell a lot more Cutco. Nita, okay, cool. There we go. All right, so Nita, you're going to learn how to explode that. In fact, many of you might be in a situation where you'll be upset with your manager, right? Vanessa's going to go to Tommy and be like, yo, you've been holding back. You, where was all this information when I was brand new? And the reason why we do that is because, hey, Sabrina, I actually save this stuff for this event. I instruct all my district managers. I say, you are not allowed to teach any of this content. This is my content to teach, only for the SLDMer. So Sabrina, even though you're going to learn a lot of good stuff today, I'm not going to say that you can't share that with somebody else on the team, but I also want to say, hey, if you're doing that and you're getting great results, say, hey, I went to the SLDM, I learned this stuff, and you encourage other future leaders to come up to want to be a part of this, because I'm going to run a handful of them in the spring. We also want to help you, educate you on future opportunities. So this will be really eye-opening for you to see what's possible for you, what you can shoot for. And I always got inspired about that working with Cutco, because there was always something else I could do. I worked at Vaughn's before bagging groceries. That was like my one real job that I had, unless you count cutting lawns, before I started selling Cutco. And, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for me there. My dream at Vaughn's, though, was I wanted to get to like the deli. Or I want to get to the meat department, because those guys made like $1 more an hour. I was like, oh, I would dream for like $1 more an hour, right? And so here we're going to talk about all the other things that you can shoot for and get your focus on. And then the other one is to identify the future leaders for 2021 and beyond. So, Miss Jordan, this is my recruiting meeting. This is the division manager's recruiting meeting, where I say, hey, who are the top people? Who are the next up and comers in the organization that really want to make a statement? And what a better way than when we start a new year, right? Who are going to be the future leaders now and beyond, and how do you go hit those things? So that's really important. I want to make sure that everybody has a good grounding here. I don't know how long everybody's been working, but at this point, just making sure everybody understands what our division is. So there are about 50 divisions in the company right now. Okay. I have the honor of running what's called the South Coast Division. The South Coast Division, to be brief, it encompasses all of Clark County. So we have like Vegas and Henderson that are on. So it's nice to see some Clark County representation on here. All of the Inland Empire. Okay. So San Bernardino, Riverside County, all those. And then down to San Diego County. And then out east a little bit, El Centro and Yuma and such. So we have a variety of offices. Right now we have 6 offices in the division. We will be expanding to 15 offices this summer with our new district managers and our new branch managers. So my job is to oversee those markets, build recruiting and grow sales in those areas, and develop our leaders, right? So that's my number one objective, essentially, from my region manager, is to grow the South Coast Division. So that's my big focus. The pillars for our division would be these. Many of you at team meetings, you've been to one already, very likely. You probably have seen this before, but just to make sure everybody understands, is we want to make sure that people are seeking best versions of themselves while they're here. Irene, this is what it means to be part of the South Coast Division. Christina alluded to that earlier. She said, like, I enjoy working with Evan because he's personal growth and he's growth oriented. And so I'm growth oriented because my mentors in the business were growth oriented, and I know that if I can grow me, I can grow my business. So Jordan, if you grow yourself, you can grow not only your Cutco business, but everything else in your life as well. So seeking on making you a better person first. So Donovan, man, I want to teach you how to sell a lot more knives. I know you're just a hair under 20,000, but I want you to also become a better man in the process. And I hope you're down for that as well. We also want to offer opportunities. We want to be constantly team building, kind of like Jordan telling Jordan about the job and how cool that is. And then consistent sales performance. So making sure you're consistently showing up. So we really talk about newsletter focus and resetting the standards for this group and what's possible. And then obviously open communication and coaching. Okay, so these are our pillars, and our focus is to create 5-star recruits. That's why I'm here. That's why I've been here for 17 plus years. I'm interested in people growing themselves so that way later on they become outstanding individuals. This is the vision for the division. So in 2020, our theme was brick by brick, as we were rebuilding our foundation in the South Coast, and we had a fantastic year. We finished in the top 15 of divisions in the company, but of course that's not good enough for where we need to be. In order for us to get into the top 10, we actually weren't that far away. The competition is pretty fierce and tight for the top divisions. But this year, you can see our hashtag is going to be breakout 21. That's what we're really trying to do, is we're having a breakout year this year, not only for you as a representative in probably your first year selling Cutco, but also for our assistant managers, our TLA branches, and our district managers. And you can see we want to scale and grow the business eventually to be a national championship type of organization. So if we're going to do that, we need to make sure we have national championship type of people. So we're only as strong as the people in the team that we work with. And so we want to make sure we're building great leaders for that. Something to be paying attention to is I look at my Super 25 every single week on Friday. So I'm going to talk about this concept right here, is how to get on my radar. And today I'll be very clear with you all on that. So obviously most of you are working with your coach directly, whoever that is, but I'm going to talk today about how to chirp a chat with me and how to make sure you're letting me know what you're doing. And the higher you can move up on the radar, the more I see your name, then it makes more sense to, get those promotions. And so I would tell you guys, especially those of you that are in different offices, Riverside, North Las Vegas, Henderson office, wherever you are, and I'm not actually working with you, all right, you're working with directly with your district manager, that's great. You want to make sure that you're looking for ways to stand out and saying, hey, I want to make sure I let Evan know so I can get on the radar. So I look at this report a lot. Those of you that are in San Diego, I obviously see I'm in your chats and things like that, but I would say for you, it's even harder to stand out, right? Because obviously I'm seeing everything that you're doing, right? And I want to make sure you're separating yourself from your peers as well, just because I'm working a little more directly with you. So be on the lookout for that and be aware of that, definitely. But this is currently where we're at so far. So I took a snapshot of the top 15 here, and you can just see where people are laying out for the top 15 in the division, from number 14 and Jordan Wright at 1615 in sales so far, all the way up to Eric Gilman at 14,000 up there. But you can see Hannah Ross up there, Sabrina Gilbert, nice job, Michelle Meyer, nice work there, Niala on here, Irene, Craig, Skylar, a lot of individuals that are on this SLDM right now. No surprise, right? No surprise. Now, just want to let you know, this report right here was just sales for the first week of the year. So this would not include anything that you just sold last week. That report doesn't come out to me until this Friday, but you see our managers post this up a lot, but this is my super 25 that I look at with regularity. Now today we're going to go first, we're going to talk about opportunities. Okay. So I'm going to lay it all out for you. I also have a document that'll have a short description of each role in each position, but I would encourage you to jot a few things down here, definitely. What we're looking for here are light bulbs, okay? We're looking for light bulbs. Many of you, when I go through this process, what my experience is with SLDMers is they go, I didn't know that that was available. I knew that was available, but now it's more clear to me. Or they actually go, well, now I know how to go hit it. So the most important thing is for Kono to go, all right, well, I'm excited about XYZ. These types of things I'd love to get on my resume. And then the most important thing after that is action, right? So what are the actionable items that you want to do to make sure you're moving towards that goal so you can achieve that, whatever it is that you're all looking for. So looking for some light bulb things for you to go, oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that Cutco provided that, and I didn't know that that was available. So let's dig in here. The first opportunity in our prime opportunity in our division is our Leadership Academy, just by show of hands. How many of you have heard of the TLA or the Leadership Academy already? Like at some point, at some meeting, your manager talked about it, you saw a slide or whatever. Okay, cool. So this shouldn't be a brand new thing to most of you, but it may be to a few of you. I just want to let everybody know that there are still ways to get into our Leadership Academy for the springtime. You know, I think about Donovan, who we just had a one-on-one with, who's at this event right now, and you know, him getting a chance to watch the video. And Donovan, we have to have a follow-up in terms of officially being a part of our Leadership Academy, but got an invite for our Saturday event. So this really is to help our individuals become the best versions of themselves. And we really talk about this concept of what are people learning right now? Okay, what are people learning right now? Now, I know not everybody's a student probably that was here, but essentially the TLA curriculum that I've come up with, and this, by the way, the curriculum is shared, Craig, pretty much uniform, so to speak, across the company, is we said that there's a gap in terms of what people learn in college and what people actually need when they get done with school. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but they're like, why didn't you teach me that in school? You know, we just this last TLA, we went over taxes, and I had one of our individuals reach out. She's like, I never knew any of that stuff. And I'm like, how do we not talk about taxes during school, or financial wealth or wealth building, or like how to get your first home loan and things like that? So things that are going to matter, that are going to pretty much affect every single person, but a lot of times those aren't taught. There's probably some schools that have classes that you can take. It's just not general knowledge for everybody. So what we said is we go, hey, how can we give value for Irene, who really wants to sell a lot of Cutco? She wants to do well, wants to kick butt at the job, but how is she growing while she's here? So that's what the Leadership Academy is. It's our program to help our leaders learn how to manage their time at a higher level, like executive level planning, to make sure that they can get all their things done, how to manage their money, how to manage their energy. Now, when I talk about that, Jordan, I'm talking about like literally personal energy, from like intake, things that they put in their body, sleep schedules, morning routines, how to show up brighter, how to connect with people at a different level, like how to vibrate, great energy, you know? So energy affects everything. We are energy, right? So that idea we really kind of delve deep into in our TLA, how to manage people, that's important. And then how to manage yourself, which is arguably the hardest one. So really focusing on these key areas. And we run this course over the fall and the spring campaign. A lot of people do this because they want to position themselves for leadership positions the following summer. If you want to put this down in the notes, summer is our main season. Summer is our main season. So the NFL is about to wrap up right now. Don't know if anybody's watching or not. I'm watching my Green Bay Packers very closely. Hopefully they do very, very well. Some of you hating on that right now. I'm taking mental note of that. So I am looking, Sabrina's like, oh, damn. So I am looking to think about it like this, where our main season, Michael, is the summertime, kind of like the football season. And then during that time, we also have our biggest competitions, which means we have the playoffs, we have like the wild card, we have the playoffs, you know, like the championships, and then we have the Super Bowl of Cutco in the summertime. So everything really ramps towards that. And then the fall time is going to be our off season, so to speak, where a lot of people are training to become, you know, the next leaders in the organization. Springtime is preseason. So what's everybody doing during preseason? They're getting ready. You know, so we're getting ready for that springtime. So there might be some of you, Mr. Dominic, for you today might be like, oh, I didn't know that there was an assistant manager opportunity for me that I could grasp this summer if I wanted to get it. I need to have that conversation with Christina immediately, because we are filling those positions right now. Over the next couple months, we're going to be looking for who are going to be the standouts that are going to help be the dream team, so to speak, leadership team for each organization that are going to lead our offices to big time success, because the summertime is just our main time. So something to look forward to. And for many of you, you won't be in school during the summertime. And so you'll be able to, that's a time where you can also sell a lot more Cutco too, where you don't have school calling at your time. So that's really key. I would tell this, if any of you are interested in TLA, that's a message that goes to your manager today. Nita, it's like, hey, how do I get in the TLA? Let's have a conversation. What do you need to see from me to get on the radar? How do I get invited? And I'll give you a few things on that today. So I'm going to go through the steps of the vector opportunity. This is a slide that I go over quite a bit is, you know, Irene, where will you be 1 year from today? And we talk about the power of 1 year. And, you know, I think a lot of us, if you try to think about, hey, Jordan, where are you going to be in 5 years? Adam, what's your 10-year plan? Donovan, what's your 20-year plan? Well, it's like, you might have some broad strokes, but let's be real. Over 5 years, a lot of things can change, right? In 2020, people's plans changed, right? But the idea, Nita, for you is there's power in going, hey, 1 year here. If you were to be here, Nita, in 1 year from today, and you got everything that you could, how good could you get? How much could you have sold? How good could your resume be, right? And it's fun to think about that, and there's energy behind that. So the first step obviously is being here. So Irene, this is the first step in the process. I know that your Fast Start contest is over, hit some promotions, and that's really good. But the next thing is really getting to this SLDM. And this SLDM, I want it to be a lifting point, a catalyst, if you will, for this group. So for those of you that do want to take that seriously, the idea is to explode out of the SLDM with the information that you're going to learn today. So it is a compliment to be here. You should take that seriously. And this, by the way, our sales leadership development meeting, this goes on everybody's resume, right? If you're building your resume along the way, every single leadership event, conference, like we have one on Saturday, anything that happens, catalog those, Donovan, and you should be building your portfolio. You're building your resume for the future for all the things that you've learned and gone through for training. The next step in the process is key staff. Now, key staff, you may have heard managers talk about this, but essentially our key staff, I'll even change the name of this just a little bit. Key leaders, right, in the office, or kind of like the MVPs, the captains, if you will. So what this would be, Jordan, for you is just, hey, I want to lead, Lindsay. I want to make an impact. And I don't want it to be just a rep on the team. It's great to be a team member. How do I start to make an impact on other people on the team? Right? Very easy conversation to do. And our leadership individuals for these key leaders, it's anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 in sales. Now, for some of you, you're under that right now. So that's your first thing. It's like, okay, I need to go get to 2,000 or 3,000. And then I'm looking at people on here like Hannah who are over 10,000, Niala over 10,000, Kono over 3,000 already. Now the question is, hey, are you fitting this mold right here, Kono? Do you have a positive attitude? Are you consistent, right? And you're like, I can check that box. Now what do you need to do, Kono? That's a message to Jeremy. Okay. Irene, that's a message to Jeremy. Hannah, that's a message to Jeremy. Craig, that's a message to Jeremy. So you get the idea here. It's just like, hey, what would you, and that question is like, would you consider me for key staff? Or Craig, it's like, what do I need to do to get on key staff? So what are the benefits for this, Vanessa? I know you've seen this a lot at the team meetings before, because I know I've seen you on several of them, but the key staff is basically, hey, if you want to advance more quickly, I would say, if you want to get to dirty 30 faster, Hannah, you want to get to 20K, 30K, 50K a lot faster. It's like taking the elevator to get there versus taking the stairs. So it's a quicker path. It's by no means don't understand as like a shortcut of going like, I don't need to work hard, but the idea is you get more information more quickly, so you shorten your learning curve. A lot of these individuals are going to be primed and ready for our TLA. They're going to help with their career sales and make bigger income. Right now, our divisional key staff is running on Saturdays. They're alternate Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. This is an invite only, okay? So just so you know, this upcoming Saturday, we do not have a key staff meeting because we have our kickoff conference. But after that, we'll be resuming those, and your managers will let you know about those. So again, that's just a simple message if you're interested for doing that. It's also a great thing for your resume. And then your manager, as when you get there, think about this. Many of you just want to get letters of recommendation too. You know, there's reps that I've worked with in the past that sold $500, Raquel, and they asked me for a letter of recommendation, but I never really worked with them. I actually declined those, right? Because I don't feel comfortable writing that for somebody that I don't know, or I haven't seen them perform. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting my name and signature on something. But when you're at key staff, Sabrina, when you're a TLA member, when you start to continue to move up, there's a lot more confidence that we have behind that person going, hey, Sabrina, you're probably not going to be here for 5 years. If you are, I freaking love it. That's really great, right? If it serves you, it's doing you great, awesome. But the reality of it is many of you aren't going to be here for 5 years. You're going to go on and do your next thing. You're going to be working on becoming that 5-star recruit. So you want to be able to lean on those things. That's another motivation for people to get on key staff and for TLAs. They just want to, hey, I want to get a great letter of recommendation from my district manager. So put that on your radar for sure. And it's a great way to learn. At those events, Craig, we're going to be doing anything from personal growth, professional growth, or financial growth. The topics also will circle around Cutco specific sales topics, which would be how to get more recommendations, how to sell at a higher level, how to sell ultimate sets, how to close a Cutco kitchen, how to focus on cookware, a variety of different topics that my managers and myself, if I'm running an event, will teach at those. So the idea is you get more information. So that's key staff. Okay. The next thing after key staff, really the focus here is Dirty 30 and beyond. And Dirty 30 and beyond. And we have some new Dirty 30 winners. I know in the San Diego team, in Hannah and Niala and Skylar. And we have Kevin Pierce knocking on the door. We got a lot of them happening. But then you go, all right, well, Kono, you got to go get yours. Sabrina, I know you're knocking on the door. Vanessa, that's your next thing. Is like, okay, I need to make a plan for that. So something in your notes here for Dirty 30 and beyond. If you are under Dirty 30, write this down. I need to make a plan for Dirty 30. I need to make a Dirty 30 birthday, if you will. And it is good to have something specific on there, Marissa. Like, I'm hitting Dirty 30 by X, and then you can work backwards and you can have an actionable plan that you and Christina can actually do, right? And that might, some of you might go, I want to hit Dirty 30 by the summertime. So that way, when I'm in the summer, I'm at 30%, and that feels really good. And then there's some of you that Dirty 30 should happen this week for you, right? Or you're going by the end of January. I'm making a run for Cabo. I'm trying to push hard all the way to the end, and you're going to hit it a lot quicker. So just want to make sure everybody's aware of that, because this is also worth writing down in your notes, is that 30% is where the job starts. Okay. So you hear me say that a lot. 30% is where the job starts. When I sold my first $10,000 worth of Cutco, after I'd done that, I really started to feel like I understood the demo. Okay. I really felt like I started to understand the demo, and I'd also sat in front of enough customers that I started to feel like I'm kind of starting to understand customers. And then once I got to 20,000, there was like another level for me. And when I got to 30,000, I felt like I can sell Cutco anytime I want to, wherever I want to. Hannah, you give me a number, I will make it rain for that. Like, I knew exactly based on my past results, right? And then of course it just went up from there. So I'm just encouraging you is that get to that point. It's also, frankly, it's an income thing, right, Melissa? Like, the ability for you to make 30% commission off of sale is just such a beautiful thing. And of course we pay a lot more than that. So I want to remind everybody, this might be screenshot worthy. If anybody wants to do a screen grab real quick, shift Apple 4 or 5 on your computer. If you're using a Mac, I don't know what it is for anything else, but this is just a nice chart for you to see. And again, I'll give you these slides, but Sabrina, now when you get to Dirty 30, even for you in the spring semester, you go out and sell $1,000 for the week, which might not feel like a lot because you've done a lot more than that in a week before. You're still making $300. And that's really positive. You sell $3,000 in a week, Hannah. I'm pretty sure you're a student, right? I think you're in high school, actually, if I remember right. All right. So, but you go out and sell $3,000 on the weekend. You don't work in the week, but you go, I'm going to go big that week, and you make a $900 check. That is really, really exciting. And then you can see it just kind of goes up from there. And Marissa, you can do a little dreaming here. When you get to 50% commission and you sell $3,000, you get a $1,500 paycheck. And that's really great. And Vanessa, as you can imagine, as you increase in the business, I look at this as promotions and income, but I also look at this as skill set, right? That's what it really means, is my skill set has increased. And so you can see this hashtag on there, right, Kono? DTJ. That is code. By the way, that is code for doing the job. That's only for this group. That's actually how I would know in your team chats, Vanessa, that you were at my SLDM, because this is what I want to see from my SLDM group. Craig goes and drops an ultimate set. Now, the first time this group, Dominic, I'm not sure if you've sold an ultimate set yet. No, it's going to happen when you get your first U-bomb, right? Now, I remember my first U-bomb. I remember being nervous to write it up. I remember my hand shaking. Michael, I remember asking the customer, are you sure? Right? She said, Jocelyn Day, I remember it was the last day, like my last day of my fast. She's like, oh, we'll get the ultimate set. And I was like, are you sure? Like, no, I haven't sold one of those, right? Which is an idiotic thing to say, obviously, but I was new to sales. But I want everybody to get to that point where, Jordan, you sell an ultimate set and you're like, oh, that's just doing the job. Because you know what? We sell ultimates all the time. We sell signature sets all the time. We sell homemaker sets all the time. Do you see how that's a mentality shift that changes for people, where Nyala drops a homemaker, it's like, just doing the job, right? So now in your chats, I want to see you guys, when every time you have a nice order like that, galley set, essentials, homemakers, like a nice set sale, just hashtag doing the job. Hannah, they say, what does that mean? Just go get to Evan's SLDM. By the way, today I'm going to show you how to increase your literally how to sell bigger sets on your demo. So I'm going to show you something that'll really help that you don't know yet. Okay. So anyway, that's just doing the job. But hopefully everybody can understand, for Marissa, our leadership group, I want to shift your perspective, right? $500 for a week shouldn't feel good anymore, right? $1,000 shouldn't be super exciting. It's positive, Kono, but it's not a huge week, right? You've done $2,000 in one demo, Kono, right? You could do a lot more in a week. So just thinking about what's possible there. Okay. So after that is the assistant manager position, or you'll hear my managers call it an AMI. Okay. An AMI, or an assistant manager intern position, and then a full-fledged assistant manager. Hannah, the difference between these two, being on office pay or not being on office pay. Okay. So when someone's an assistant manager intern, and when they're a new assistant manager, Melissa, they're basically doing the same jobs, right? When they're brand new, there's different levels to being an assistant manager naturally. But when you're a new AMI, Sabrina, you would be in that role for anywhere from, let's say, 2 to 6 weeks before you'd actually earn the official assistant manager promotion. I also will let you know, Hannah, I know you started 2 weeks ago. You could actually earn this position in another week or two. Sabrina, same thing for you, right? Because I just know you just went through this, Niala. I say it's for anybody, but I want to let you know that we promote based upon value. Okay, we promote based upon value, not tenure. And I think that's really key that's a key light bulb to take away. Like, I don't care if you've been here for 8 months. That doesn't mean you deserve a promotion, right? But Niala, if you're working hard, you communicate, you're honest, you're a hard worker, and you have leadership traits, why not promote you quicker? Because I'm not a believer in promoting people based on time. I just want the right people on the bus. So also, Hannah, you have to have a desire for that too. Now, Craig, you might go, I want to be an AMI, but that might also not align with your goals. So I want to let you know, Michael, you don't have to be that role. You could always be a kick butt sales rep and take it to the next level for sure. Like, you can run that role too. It's not required to do that. But I'm guessing if you're at this meeting, you want to be a leader. And my definition of being a leader is really, how do I influence and impact other people positively? Like, it's a really simple way. You don't need a title to do it, but just if you are looking to move up, that's another conversation. So if you're past 3K or 6K or 10K, and you have interest, hey, how do I get on Evan's radar for AMI? Message your manager, right? So I'm letting you know about these things. So if you have interest there, let them know, like, strike while the iron's hot. The assistant managers get management experience. Raquel, I know you know a little bit about this. Okay. Hello, Raquel, by the way. Nice to see you. Foot in the door, and first selection for paid AM. And we're going to be doing promotions for this basically in the next 2 months. So if you're interested, because we're trying to get ready for what, Hannah? The main season, right? The main season. And so I want to let everybody know too, is that the assistant managers, really their job is to sell Cutco. So they're still sell. So Kona, if you're promoted to that, you still sell Cutco, because the team needs to see our leaders selling. That's really great. Lucas Roth comes to mind in my pilot office. Okay. Last year, he sold over $50,000 worth of Cutco and became an assistant manager while he was doing it, right? That would be a beautiful example of that, because he just led in the sales department at a high level. The assistant managers also will be helping with team building, with PRs and social media. So you know what? Hey, guess how you make your team sell more, Melissa? You sell more, right? But also get a bigger team. You know, the more people, the more people we can have in the South Coast family. That's great. I don't shy away from that at all. Michael, I want to recruit an army. Like we want to dominate in 2021. I have no shame about that. Like I want to work with more great people. So Marissa, you help team build. That's great. And then also when you're brand new as an AMI, you really just need to lead by example and be a great role model. High communication, helping other people out on the team, field training, those types of things. So Hannah, that would be like introductory steps. Dominic, introductory steps. Now, eventually, as an assistant manager starts doing that, then the next level they get to do is a lot of times they get to, if they're the right person, they get to start being a recruiter. Y'all went through an interview, right? Okay, Irene, imagine if you were the interviewer, not the interviewee, right? So it's a whole nother ball game, right? You switch that dynamic, but you get to be the person that decides, hey, do I want to accept this person for training? Do you think you'd be a better interviewee if you became an interviewer? Like if you learned how to be a recruiter. And by the way, that is an amazing skill set to get, period, the end. If you know how to recruit, build teams, it's not only for this business, just for anything that you do. If you can get great people around you, that is a massive skill set to have acquired. All companies will pay handsomely for that. So learning how to be a recruiter is tremendously valuable. And then the next level for that is learning how to be a coach. And some of you will learn how to do that, right? So Dominic, if you can imagine, you'd be coaching new reps, helping them out, helping them with their orders, helping them process those things, helping them close with a customer, like those things that your coach has been doing with you, your manager's been doing with you, you'd be able to get a chance to help other people out. So it's a give back type of thing, which is really great. Assistant manager pay essentially is they get a chance to double dip. So Sabrina, you get your 30% plus when you're there, but you also get paid off of the office as well. So we like to call that a double dip, which is really nice. So we'll go into more details about how that works, but basically the more the team sells, Sabrina, the more that you would make in that case. That in this case, I would be paying that for you, right? Vanessa, Tommy would be compensating you for being an assistant manager. And you want to put this down in your notes, being an AMI or AMI or an AMI or an AM, okay, official assistant manager can be done part-time. So even those of you in school, like some of our AMs do like 2 shifts a week, or one day they work in the office, which is like working on Zoom, so just so you know, it's something, even if you have a busy schedule, it's not like Hannah, you're doing this like, oh my gosh, I have to drop out of school to do this. It's like, no, that wouldn't work in any universe, right? So you can do everything. So Irene, you could be an AMI, you can crush your school grades, right? And then also you can crush your sales too, and your personal life and all your fun and stuff like that. So we really help you become a master of managing your time. So that's a system manager. This one might be screenshot worthy as well. Is just kind of understanding the hierarchy right here is once you're over 1,000 can start networking with me. Many of you I already have 3-way messages with, or our coaching chat with you in the San Diego office. If you're over 3,000, then you can be invited to our local Wednesday TLAs that we run before the team meeting and an open door for key staff. These ones are invites only, of course. So these ones are like, obviously let your manager know if you have interest. And then I'll say for this, that for the AMI opportunity or becoming an assistant manager, usually someone is at 6K plus, okay? So that's just the minimum level. Some people are a lot higher than that. Like I think about Donovan's almost at 20K, and we haven't really it happened quick for you, right? So we haven't got to this conversation yet. So certainly you'd be qualified to start that application process. And then interview officially for the TLA, we typically do for someone that's already over the dirty 30 mark. Okay, so just so you know. The next thing for your notes is the South Coast events team. So in your notes, I should have put this down on my slides, but I didn't, is in order to be a part of our events team and start to train with our events team, you have to be at $20,000 in career sales. Okay, $20,000 in career sales. So for those of you over 10K, there's the next carrot to go after, right? There's the next nugget for you. Our events team, just so you know, has basically, Dominic, been on hold because of COVID, right? So, but pre-COVID, we did 150 events a year. Has anybody ever seen Cutco sold at another place versus on Zoom? Okay, you've seen it before? Okay, we do at fairs and shows, San Diego County Fair in Las Vegas during December. There's huge shows, cowboy Christmas shows and things like that some of you may be familiar with out there. We work all of those events. Farmers market, some of you might even have that idea. Like Don was like, maybe I'll just post up at a farmer's market. That could be incredible. And people just come up by. Hey, we already have that program. They also do advanced service events and things like that. And all of our CSPs do them. So this, Michael, for you would kind of get you entry into working with a lot of our top end people. So 20K is that thing. So if you want to make a note about that and another reason to get there, you can start that process. Donovan, I think you have $150 to get to 20K. As soon as you do that, boom, we can get you in that WhatsApp. We can get you invited for that part so you can get on that chain. So once we start that again, you can start getting trained to not only sell on Zoom with customers, but once we get back to like being able to do events, you can actually work at behind a booth and stuff like that. Is a really cool way to sell Cutco at a high level. So that's also something out there. How many of you just heard about that for the first time? Like you didn't even know we had an events team and that's new information for you today. There we go. Okay, cool. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. The next couple levels I'll be brief with. I just want to really plant the seed so you're aware of them. But the branch manager position is not available to anybody on this call until the following summer, so summer of 2022. So just so everyone's aware, but our branch manager position is really our premier opportunity. It's an elite resume experience, and I know it says it sets our students apart. Being a student it is not a prerequisite in order to run a branch. It just often happens that way. This is a summer entrepreneurial business internship. Okay, where a lot of times our students will go out and they will build their own Cutco team for the summer. They will be responsible for a market that they will take care of. They will recruit and train their representatives out of that, and they'll be able to develop their leaders in their organization. So Hannah, imagine if you created more Hannahs, right? So that's kind of the definition of a leader, right? Is can a leader create more leaders in their organization? Amazing for the resume. We have this nice little acronym. We call it taking the leap. And there's a lot of people in our organization that even after the SLDM, they star this and they go, oh, in the future, this might be a cool thing for me, where you go, hey, I'd love to take the leap. And it's really someone who's looking for getting outstanding levels of leadership, trying to get an experience on their resume that is like nothing else out there, increasing adventure, and then also personal growth. They want to grow in a big way. So this experience, if you can imagine this, our students will go out and they will start a business from scratch. We teach them how to make a business plan, keep a profit and loss statement, how to recruit, how to train, how to build a sales team, how to grow their organization. And they only do it for the summertime, Sabrina. So they typically will open their office once they get done with their spring semester of school. They run their organization and their team for the summer, and then they close down their team and they return back to school in the fall as a member of our TLA more often than not. And those representatives just get a chance to work with another district manager, a full-time manager. So those representatives still get taken care of as well. But the resume experience is crazy good. If you can imagine what the average college student does for work, going out and running your own business is certainly going to pop in a different way on the resume, right? And even if you're not in college, this is just something that's amazing to do. It also has a pretty unique income earning potential. Our branch managers in the company, there were a lot of them that made somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000 last summer running their own sales team. So it's pretty positive. Several of them made between 20 and 40,000. A few of them made over 50,000, and the number one and two made over, or number one at least made over $100,000 as a college student for the summer for his branch operation. So there's also really interesting is an interesting word to use. There's a really lucrative opportunity there for the branch managers that perform at a high level. So it's pretty positive. So anyway, I'm just putting this on here as just a, hey, maybe just plant a seed for you, Raquel, summer 2022. I don't know. Maybe that's for you. Maybe it's not for you, but certainly just knowing that it's available, you can start working towards it. Here's one of our branch managers from last summer, Leilani Turla, who is now a senior at UCSD. She's about to graduate with her business degree. This was actually her second branch office that she ran this summer. I'm just proud of this young woman. Went through our Cutco through college, TLA. She's just a stud. And she just became this individual that ran 2 offices and was part of our organization for over 4 years in her efforts to become a 5-star. And now when she graduates, she wants to go out into the world, and she wants to go either work with do social work, or she wants to start her own business or go work with a private firm. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's why a lot of people will do it. So her resume is just stacked like crazy. So it's really cool to know that. The division office manager role, many of you are familiar with Jeremy Blau, obviously the San Diego division office manager. So Jeremy is the #1 candidate in the South Coast division. Okay, he's the #1 candidate in the division. So what I do every single year primarily is I select one individual that I'm going to take under my wing, and I'm going to coach them, mentor them 100%. So they're basically my right-hand person. So that's Jeremy Blau right now. Jeremy will be more than likely opening up his organization as a district manager, which is our career position, at the end of this year. So what does that mean? There's a vacuum that's created there, right? There's a void. So that role will be filled. Okay. Now that role is usually filled by somebody in our leadership academy who's also ran a branch office before. But that's usually someone who is going to be a district manager and pursue that as a career when they're getting done with school. So I am looking for the next Dom always, right? So that's another role if you're looking to, hey, how do I get a chance to work with Evan one-on-one? That is it at a big level for running. And he runs the pilot office, the San Diego office, which year over year is one of the strongest performing teams in the entire nation. I think for the last 6-7 years in a row, we finished top 10, top 5, top 3, and we've won the national championship before. So it's a big role. But this is my question for you. Where will you be 1 year from today? Where will you be 1 year from today? So anybody, just some light bulbs there for you, stuff to think about, things to sink your teeth into. Right now would be a good time if you want to message your manager something, key staff, AMI, TLA, or all of them. Like if you want the whole menu of items, all you want to do is that you want to make sure you start a conversation with them. Okay. So Vanessa, I wouldn't mess and be like, can I get promoted to this role? I mean, I guess that's one way to do it, but I'd say, hey, could we have a conversation about this? Or what do you need to see from me in order to get promoted and to get on Evan's radar to get a chance to continue to move up in the organization? So, I'm going to briefly go through college, and then we're going to go into the teaching stuff for today. So this is also worth putting down in your notes. I know you've probably seen this hashtag before. You've heard us talk about it. You've at least heard me talk about it in passing and training, or maybe your manager have, but a lot of people have chosen to do this role. Now, if you choose to do Cutco through college, or I guess I would say if you're not a student, thinking about like building your skills here for the next 1, 2, 3 years, okay, maybe 4 years. And so that way you can become that 5-star recruit. That's really what we're trying to help people do. One example of that would be Lindsay Lendhurst. She started and was recruited with our company right when she got out of high school when she was 17. She's really done every role in our company, from being a receptionist to being a PR caller to a representative, key staffer, assistant manager, intern, assistant manager. Lindsay was my #1 branch manager several years ago and really performed at a high level. She's a graduate of San Diego State University. She's a smart cookie. She even graduated early. And I'm really proud of this young woman. Lindsay is a young leader running her own organization, running the Riverside team, which, by the way, Riverside team has gotten off to the best start that it's ever gotten off to in the month of January. And we still have 3 weeks to go. So there's really good things brewing in the Riverside team for 2021. And there's a lot of sales leaders that are cropping up. And that's really exciting. So here's Lindsay and I at conferences that we used to be able to go to, and which hopefully we'll have back sooner than later. This is her when she got her first office and her key. And it's just really cool to see someone become that entrepreneur and become that leader. So really great to see that going on. But she decided when she got done with school, she's a graduate, like I said, from San Diego State, but was a psychology major, and decided to take that role in being a district manager, which is our career position, in basically, for lack of a better term, running a Cutco franchise. That's kind of a way to think about it. So she's in charge of the Riverside market, all recruiting, sales, and development there. This is a career position, and so it's really exciting. Then from Matt Graves, Matt is one of my CSPs. Matt also did Cutco through college. Matt was started working with me in my Temecula team when I initially ran that organization. He started with me when he was 18 years old, was going to Cal State San Marcos, studying kinesiology. Don't know if anyone knows what that is, but has absolutely nothing to do with business and sales, really. And he was focused on that, and he was playing baseball, and he decided, hey, I really want to learn my skills here. And then he became an assistant manager. He's part of our leadership academy. He then became a branch manager, then became a leader in my organization in the sales capacity. And then when he graduated from school, decided to become a CSP. And then now has had several years in a row where he's sold 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. Last year, he sold about $500,000 worth of Cutco last year. He was our #1 rep, or one of our top ones. Sold $500,000 for the year. And you guys know our CSPs make 50%. So the income opportunity is pretty outrageous. And in 2019, he sold $725,000 worth of Cutco in 1 year at 50% commission. So the outcome is the income is pretty outrageous. And by the way, the district managers have that same income opportunity as well. It's 100,000 plus income opportunity. So I tell everybody, when you get done with school, some people don't know what they're going to do when they're done with school, but it's a really good thing to do while you're figuring out what the hell you want to do. All right. So that's a good way to do it. So if you have any interest in doing that post-college, that's great, although that might not align with everybody's values. Our typical collegiate track, this also might be screenshot worthy if you feel so inclined, but this is where all of you are. So this very first summer, Marissa, your number one spot in working with Christina and NLV is like, how do I sell, earn a spot, and become an assistant manager? Like, how do I become a leader? How do I get a chance to move up in the organization? Once you go through your first summer, then you get an opportunity, Hannah, to qualify for the Leadership Academy for our 2021-22 class, which will start next fall. And so then those people will get into our Leadership Academy. And then a lot of those people who decide, they go, oh, I want to be a branch manager. So they get to start training to become a branch manager, which they do next summer. Then they get an opportunity to run a second branch if they do perform at a high level and they choose that is in alignment with their goals and what they want to do. Or another example is, let's say, Sabrina, this summer you become my assistant manager in the pilot office. Okay, that's awesome. You help us kick some butt. You get in the TLA and then you run a branch. After you run a branch, you might go, Evan, I don't like managing people, right? I don't like people. I just want to sell at a high level. What does that look like for me, right? And so you can do that role as well too, and like maybe just be an assistant manager. And then also some people go, Hannah, you might go, I love this branch thing. I got my people, my team. This is so cool. And I see these people growing. Like, I want to do that again. So a lot of those people will go out and run a second one and they learn how to scale a business, because that's impressive. We're called to do it one time, but then also to scale it at a different level really shows future employers not only sticking to something, but learning how to grow and change your results. So really positive. And then when people get done with school or whatever, they can become a district manager, CSP, or a 5-star recruit. And so that's the goal, Melissa, is for you to become a 5-star recruit. So every other company out there wants you. Okay. So that you become this 5-star, right? That's really the focus. Okay. How many of you want to have a lot of options when you get done with school, or just have a lot of options in life? It's nice to have options, right? So I tell people this is like a big motivation why people do this is, yes, hey, Irene, we sell knives. They're really great. They're forever guaranteed and customers love them. But Jordan, the reason why you work here is because who you could become in the process. So really the knives and the product becomes the vehicle. And that was a click for me at Sldm, where I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm actually doing this to become something else, to learn these skill sets, because I might not learn them somewhere else. Now, when you get done with school, the most powerful thing is that you don't have to go on interviews, okay? You don't have to go on interviews, Jordan. You interview them. You decide if you want to work at that company. That's a power position. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about there? They're not interviewing you. You're interviewing the company. Is this somewhere where I want to invest a portion of my life, right? And Niala, if you're really good, guess who else is going to recruit you? This guy, right? Because Melissa, I'm a recruiter through and through. I'm talent scout, 100%. Craig, I could pay you no higher compliment than coming after you. If you ever like, damn, Evan's kind of like recruiting me right now. Damn, it's coming on strong. It's like, Marissa, I can't give you any more comment. That means I want you on my team and I want to build a great organization. You guys know who just won the college football championship? I don't know if you watched it last night. Alabama won again. Okay, I don't even know if you care about this sport or whatever, but I watched the game. And Nick Saban, he's already thinking about what? He's like, how do we do it again? Because he just got his 7th one. He's like, how do I do it again? How do I do it again? How do I do it again? It's like, I'm not saying I'm Nick Saban, but I want to be as close to it in that regard. Like, how do I keep building something great and giving people a platform to become something great? So that's why I've decided to stay with Cutco for this amount of time. Is that cool, everybody? All right, awesome. The last slides I'm going to show you here as far as opportunity goes, and then I'm actually going to open it up for any questions on what I just went over. Okay. So you'll know what these hashtags mean now. Okay. If I respond to you or I put them in a chat, now, Hannah, you know what 5-star is. Okay. Now you know what CTC is. Now you know what BVOY is, best version of you. Now you know what I say when I say you message me something and I say, Hannah, earn your spot. What it means to be vector trained. Like, these are the things that we talk about. And of course, the trains are a theme in our division about building momentum. Once you get it going, you can't stop. And then the idea, Melissa, if you want to become something great, it's brick by brick, by brick by brick. There is no shortcut. There's no get rich quick type of that doesn't exist in a real world. In my opinion, it's like you got whatever you get here, Kono, is earned one step at a time, one brick at a time. So that's what those things mean. As far as post college, I mentioned about our Cutco sales professional position. I just want to let you know, some of you might be interested in these types of things. If you're interested in ultimate independence, independent selling opportunity, career selling opportunity, fair and show realtor program or military program, we have a lot of Cutco sales professionals. So here is the lineup of some of our Cutco sales professionals in our division. These are people that are done with school, but they've decided to work like a realtor, an insurance agent, an independent, like they work for themselves, but not by themselves. Okay. And also, you guys, this is the power of the PR. You see this gentleman right here, Adam Sobieski. That's my best friend. Okay. Adam and I went to high school together. I've known Adam since I was 14 years old, and I recruited Adam into Cutco. Okay. Years and years and years ago. And now Adam has become the consultant for Cutco Corporation and Vector Marketing for their entire realtor program. And that job, by the way, never existed. He basically created it because he became such an ass kicker. So imagine having so much value that the company just creates roles for you. So, and it's really nice. Him and I have grown up in the business. He lives 20 houses down the street from me. And it's really nice to be able to work with him and collaborate with him. And he's our #1 guy in our division in terms of overall career sales. So as far as this goes, we do have our CSPs do a lot of events. They do a lot of service calls, a lot of sharpenings for customers. We also have a CGC opportunity. So CGC stands for Cutco, or like closing gift consultants, basically. And so what Adam, there's a picture of Adam here, and then Eric, which are these two gentlemen here, Eric and Adam. I don't know if any of you have like ran into that, Sabrina, I think you did, about selling to a real estate agent and you couldn't do that part. Those gentlemen sell only to real estate agents and loan officers, and sell Cutco. The idea is they sell it as a recurring order, right? Because real estate agents give gifts. Everybody know this, like when they sell a house. Even my real estate agent gave me Cutco when I bought the house from him. I was like, Max, like, I don't need any Cutco. He's like, no, it's not automation. You just get the gift. I was like, all right, I'll take more Cutco. But the idea is that these people keep buying it over and over. So then it can become a residual business like insurance or something like that. So that also might be something interesting for you. Also, if anybody is not in school and you're interested in a faster track, make sure you communicate that to your manager, right? It's like, I just want to put that out there. The reason why I talk about a 3 or 4 year plan is because some of you might be a freshman or sophomore in school, okay? Or different, right? But I just want to make sure everybody's aware. So that opportunity is there, and we are looking for more of those. We are looking for more CSPs. We're looking for more CGCs, okay? The district manager opportunity, I mentioned Lindsay. You guys saw John Roach on here. You saw Christina and James, Thomas Keelan. This is our career position. It's basically, I call it like Vector's MBA, entrepreneur and scale. These are people who want to learn how to build a business. They build teams, they build systems to scale. I was a district manager for 6 years. It's if you love influencing people, you love making an impact. It's really, I feel fortunate, and frankly, I have a lot of responsibility because I know we do work with a lot of young individuals, and it's formative years, in terms of personal growth and your outset and your perspective and how you view the world, and a lot of things you're trying to make sense of. So we take it seriously, but our district managers, I basically say, like, are highly paid teachers. That's really what they do. So they get a chance to travel a lot. We have some cool perks, like where they get a BMW from the company. A free car is obviously a positive thing. We get to travel a lot. We love travel. So here's some of the places that we've gone over the last couple of years: Prague, Budapest, Panama, Ireland. My wife loves this too, because she gets to come with, which is great. We had a trip where we got to take our family to the Cayman Islands. It was gorgeous. It was amazing. Just in 2020, we went to Paris. We actually came home 3 days before they locked down all of Europe. It was crazy. Like, we didn't even think we were going to get back. I think 2 of our managers actually got stuck out there for a little while. It was a little hairy, but they got back. They're okay. And this is where we're going this year in November. This is at least where it's slated for right now. We're doing an Australia, New Zealand trip. So there's always these really cool places that are there. So I'll let you know, we are looking for A players. I'm looking for A players, and I'm going to challenge everybody. Hey, if you're part of this, I really want you to get on my radar. And there's one simple way for you to do that, and just understand that CPO talks. Right? CPO talks, particularly for those of you that are not working with me directly in the pilot office in San Diego. Okay. Is like, that's one of the ways you can kind of shout at me, by being on the reports, and I'll talk about how to chirp the chats, but I'll say that again. Where could you be 1 year from today? Where could you be 1 year from today? So hopefully there's some light bulbs for you there. And then we're going to go into some teaching stuff. I just actually want to open this up for a moment. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I just went over? The roles, responsibilities, clarifying something, TLA, key staff, AMI, like anything on that part. Or if you want to type it in the chat, that's fine. Or if you want to, like, kind of, notify me, raise your hand, you can unmute. I'd be happy to clarify anything for you. Okay. Is the chat working? There's no chat. Okay, now there is. Craig, I see you. You can unmute. Hold on just a second. I want to make sure I have this here. You should be good. But if anybody has a question, feel free to throw in the chat. Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, a couple of things. First off, thank you for this is pure gold. I love everything you're talking about today,
Thank you.
especially on the personal growth side. And I think my first question is taking the next step for a leadership role and doing it in a sincere and honest way. I've been honest with Jeremy. I'll be honest with you. I am committed with another company that I'm helping, especially in this time during COVID, who really needed my help. And so I am basically not a full-time Cutco employee at this point.
Sure.
But I love everything you guys are about, and I love what is being presented to us. That's the first question: how to just basically take a next step realistically on a part-time basis.
Yep.
That's
Totally
the first question, and then I have one more if you want to answer that one.
Yeah, you can throw the other question at me too.
Okay. My background is in real estate. I was an LO. I've got a ton of contacts, a whole list of contacts that I haven't called in years. Would love to talk to your boy and find out how to hook up some of my top producers and sell some Cutco. What a brilliant idea. A gift for selling a home. Love it.
It's like a hand in the glove, right? It's like when it came out, I mean, I don't know, when this program came out for the realtor program years ago, we were like, how have we not just executed on this before? It's like, but it's been there for a long time and it's growing. It's actually the fastest channel in Cutco growing right now. They actually just had their overall best year. I mean, our company did too, but Cutco realtor program had our best year we've ever had ever. They exploded in 2020. It was phenomenal. So a few things for you. How do you do it? Craig brings up a good question, because you guys could also fill in the blank for what Craig just said with another job, like company with school. Like I mean, they're sort of the same in some respects. So for you, Craig, if you're doing it in a sincere way, I think the number one thing for you guys to do is what I mentioned of going like, reach out to your manager, start the conversation. Okay. Start the conversation. That's the key thing from today, is like, start that process. The second thing to do is I look for, in terms of promoting somebody, I'm looking for more of consistency in work effort and attitude than anything else. So Craig, you don't have to be the top producer on the team. And frankly, you likely won't, at least for right now, because of time disparities between the two roles, right? You literally just can't put as much time into selling Cutco right now, and that's okay. But what I would look for all of you, if you want to get promoted quickly, is can I consistently show up? So that might look like $500 every single week, and I'm just putting that in there. I'm putting that in there, and it might be 1,000 for some of you, it might be 1,500, it might be a different number. The most important thing though is the consistency. What you want to avoid, Nita, is like exploding out of the grates with a big week and then having like 3 goose eggs, and then exploding with a big week, because then your manager is like, it's great for you to explode and have a great week, but I want to see someone that's consistent, especially if we're going to put them in the inner circle for leadership development, right? We want to help that person do that. So that's the other thing that I think is really important. And then the next steps for you is like, Craig, if you're not on key staff, like that's the next thing, talking to us about getting in our leadership academy to continue that learning and growing process. And then when you talk to your manager, you can also say, hey, when you all discuss this for the behind the scenes conversation with your manager, we all have a staff meeting. All of our managers run staff meetings, and we have a behind the scenes meeting, right? Where just our staff is together. So you can talk about, how do I get an invite to come behind the scenes to observe a staff meeting, to see what that looks like, to see the other side of how we're going to run the business. So that's the direction I would give you there. And that would be sincere. And Craig, you could do that in 4 weeks. It could take you 4 months if you want to. It could take you all year. You could take it at your pace when it serves you to come up as a leader. In terms of since you were an LO, which is loan officer, for anybody that doesn't know on this call, Craig, you can actually do 2 things, right? A, I can show you how to pass those leads, and they'll give you kickbacks on commission on anything they process, which is nice, but that you don't get commission CPO for those. But also, Craig, if you're interested in pursuing potentially a CGC type of route, we can have a separate conversation around that, and I can hook you up, because we have realtor teams that we can plug you in with eventually as you continue to sell more Cutco, to actually become that role more quickly, if that's something that you want to pursue, or actually be able to sell to those LOs and real estate agents yourself. So we'll have to table it there just for the sake of this event. But if you want to further that conversation, we can definitely talk about that for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. I'm going to assume, because nobody else put anything in the chat, you don't have any questions, and everything I said was crystal. Perfect. That feels good. Okay. So I imagine you all have some light bulbs from that as well. Just like get your brain thinking a little bit. And that's really the goal. Okay. The next thing we're going to do in the next 50 minutes is I'm going to move, but now we're going to go into like, here's how you sell more Cutco. Okay. So I'm going to teach you some stuff, but there is some caveats here. Okay. The first is everything I teach you right now, as a rule, you are not allowed to use it all on your very next demo. Okay. Because Dominic, what I'm going to teach you right now, it'll be impossible for you to do that. It'd be like you being in a play, and then right before you go on stage, the director's like, no. These 3 pages are the next lines you have to do. You're like, no way. No way are you going to deliver that perfectly. All right. But you have to practice and rehearse. Okay. So that's really important for everybody to do that. So please, honestly, I want you all to sell a lot more Cutco, but Jordan, if you try to put this all in your next demo, it's going to be a train wreck. And it's probably going to be no sale, no wrecks, and that's not good. But I want to make sure I equip you with some tools on how to do this, and I'm going to give you the documents after as well. All right. So here we go. You all ready? This is my favorite stuff to teach right here too. So I'm like, I like this part. And if as I go through any of this, if any of you start to get like mad at your manager, that's actually my goal. Is that Skylar's so pissed. He's like, why didn't Jeremy teach me this? Evan, where were you in initial training, man? I could have used this. It's like, no. I saved this stuff for this event. All right. So the one topic we're really going to circle around is recommendations. Who needs more recommendations? Everybody, right? Even if your queue had 200, would you want more? What if it had 500? If it had 1,000, you'd still want more, right? So we're going to talk about advanced recommendations, and I'm going to have you guys write this down is start to get greedy with recommendations. Okay. Start to get greedy with recommendations. That doesn't mean you treat customers differently by any means. I'm just saying, Jordan, understanding how important recommendations are. Okay. So we're going to talk about this concept quite a bit. So we're going to dive into this. Now, when it comes to recommendations, I think there's a good place for me to start here with all of you. And the place I want to start is really making sure I just shift everybody's mentality about recommendations. All right. So the first thing is when it comes to advanced recs, there's 2 reasons why people recommend, Hannah. The first is they like Cutco. Okay. They like Cutco, and they know people don't have to buy, that they recommend. So that's really helpful. So if Raquel, if you're able to articulate that, communicate that properly to a customer, recommend as many as you possibly can because they don't have to feel obligated to buy, that's great. But how do you make sure, Melissa, that they like Cutco? Well, that's really easy. Just show them Cutco. Okay. But the one thing I will tell you about this is if you want to help them like Cutco, one of the best things that you can do is you can become more professional at your demo. Okay. So you're a Cutco sales rep, right? Okay, so Irene, own that and understand that. And as soon as you switch from that mode, Mariah, of like, oh, this is just like kind of something that I do, to going like, well, this is my business. I'm gonna be really freaking good at it, right? Like if I'm here, I'm gonna do a good demo. So if I were to watch your demo, what would I think? So that's a good framing point. Like if I was a fly on a wall, if I was on the Zoom and I got to observe your demo, Jordan, from how you build rapport to how you show the videos and engage, the customers' questions that you're asking them, how you close the sale, how you confidently ask for the order, how y'all drop down, and then how you ask for recommendations, right? If I were to watch that part, somebody might go, well, my demo probably needs to button up a little bit. All right. So here's the concept I'll tell you is that if you do a professional demo, people will get more excited about the product. Okay. Because people want to make sure they understand what they're getting. So here's my challenge for all of you. You work for Cutco, right? Do you know everything about the knives? Now, there's a good chance if you're at this meeting right now, you're like, no, I don't. But if I were to put you on the spot right now, Hannah, and I was like, tell me, I'm your customer, explain to me the difference between the boning knife and the petite slicer. Why would I do that? Now, some of you go, I think I know that answer, right? But some of you are like, I didn't even know we had a boning knife. What the hell? Like, what, a boning knife? What are you talking about? That right there needs to change. That is not professional, right? And think about it this way, Donovan, how many times do you have to call Jeremy to get an answer like that? Eventually, it's fine if you do, but eventually you don't want to have to. And then as Donovan starts to know all the answers, when he becomes a coach as an AM, then he can start helping other reps too, which is why you need to sell Dominic, so that way you can be a better coach to reps. Okay, everybody drawing those lines? All right, anyway, we got to make sure you like Cutco. The other thing I'll tell you is this. As I've already made 2 football references, here comes my third one. I clearly watch some foosball, okay? If you look at those people that play football on Saturday or Sunday, how long do they play for? The game is 60 minutes. But I think if you actually break down a football game, it's like 12 minutes of actual play. And everybody knows there's an offense and a defense. So if I'm on offense, it's even shorter. And then part of that time, I don't even get the ball, right? So if you think about all of that, how much time do these football players spend training, rehearsing, practicing for what? A very small. Everybody knows who Usain Bolt is, right? Usain Bolt, fastest man in the world. I think that's still to date. He runs for freaking 9 seconds. The guy's been training his whole damn life for 9 seconds. So what are you doing to make sure that you're great on the demo? Okay. And if you want to be professional, you need to rehearse more than you actually do what it is that you're doing. You need to rehearse. So some of you have been rehearsing on your customers. You understand what I mean when I say that? Like, how do I get good at recommendations? Because I keep asking for recommendations. It's like, well, you're practicing on your customers if you're not clean with it, right? It would be better, Jacob, for you to rehearse, drill the rec approach a bunch of times with a friend, hop on Zoom. You know what, Dominic, what is stopping you from talking to Marissa Adams, who's also part of your team, messaging her on WhatsApp, be like, yo, let's get on a Zoom. Would you be down to practice and rehearse? We can drill it out a little bit here. There's nobody stopping you from something like that, except for you, right? But then you start giving each other feedback. You're helping each other out, right? And then now, Dominic, when you ask for referrals, you're actually confident. Any of you guys get more scared to ask for recommendations than the actual damn order? You're like, oh, I can ask for the order. That's really good. But then you start going, right? Like, oh my God, I'm about to ask for recommendations. A lot of people get nervous when it comes to that part. A lot of that's because you lack confidence, and you lack confidence because you haven't rehearsed. Because you don't know what to say, right? You don't have it drilled down perfectly, right? Repetition is the mother of skill. Okay, light bulb for anybody right there? Like, I just need to rehearse. So here's what I'll tell you. I don't expect you, Jordan, you ain't a professional football player here. Okay, so I get that. And you got school and other things going on in your life probably. But here's what I would say for our group. I would dedicate 1 hour per week. 1 hour per week where you rehearse and train. You're reviewing. Hey, I'll let you guys know. Do you all know we have a website called cutco.com? Some of you have never been to that website before. I actually messaged one of you. I won't call out who it was. I messaged someone today that website. What are all the things I could win? I'm like, go to cutco.com. See what's there. See what's available. Sabrina, that was you. I said I wasn't going to call you out, and I did. I'm sorry about that. So, but I'm just letting you know, like, that might be a light bulb where it's like, oh my God, I've never even been to the corporate website before. So that would also tell you the difference between the boning knife, the slicers, and those types of things. Now, another level too is that, Kono, can you tell me the difference? I'm your customer. Can you tell me the difference between a homemaker and a signature? And what pieces come with it? And how many more? And then what's the pricing? And what's the 5-pay, right? Do you know all those? Blah, 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 right? Do you know the difference between that and the complete set? Hey, how much does it cost me for a Cutco kitchen? Some of you are like, what the hell is a Cutco kitchen, right? So there's going to be a lot of levels to this. And I don't expect you to know that right now, Irene, obviously. Mariah, it's okay if you're like, well, I started 10 days ago. Take it easy. Well, okay, no problem. But for how long, Vanessa? For how long? If you're going to be a pro, if you're going to be a leader, that is one of the easiest things that you can do. So I definitely want to make that point. I think that's really important for you to understand. The other thing that this is key for is that you got to make sure that customers like you. Right? You got to be likable, right? I used to train my reps and say, you need to be huggable, right? Now, I know we can't hug people through Zoom, but you get the idea. That was my goal on a demo. Make a sale, get fed, get recommendations, and like get a hug. I felt like if I got a hug from my customer, there was a prime connection. You guys know what I'm talking about? So you want to be that type of person where they actually want to recommend you. But I'm going to talk today about how to make sure you get recommended, okay? The other thing I think is important about this is perspective. Okay. Okay, so recs versus sales. And I just put $50 per rec, all right, for your notes. Now, what would you all rather have? Would you rather make a $400 average sale, or would you rather get 10 Mac recs? Anybody in this ballpark? Cool. Yeah, that feels good. What would you rather have, a homemaker set or a no sale and get 10 recs? Would you rather have a homemaker sale or a no sale but get 10 Mac recs? Now, some of you know you're supposed to do this right now, but in the back of your head, you're like, that homemaker though, Evan, that's pretty juicy. Okay. And then of course I could go next level, Kona. What would you rather have, an ultimate set or 10 Mac recs? And most new representatives, this is where it starts to kind of sink in a little bit. We're like, oh, I'm more focused on the sale, more excited about the sale than I am about the recommendations. Now, ideally, what do we want? I said be greedy a little bit in this regard. Nyala, what do you want? You want both, right? I want both. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But the idea is I want to make sure that my focus is on recommendations because I want to get as many as I possibly can. How do you sell more Cutco? You need more recs. So we want to help you explode with those. Okay. So just mentality wise, Michael, when you go into a demo, do you have a sales goal when you go into a demo? Are you thinking about how much you want to sell? Are you like, oh, it's homemaker or bigger, right? Are you thinking that way? For Sldm group, have all of you been thinking about, I'm going to get this many recs? Do you set a rec goal before your demo? Maybe you don't, Irene, but now you will. Now you will. Imagine if we just had a thing at the end of the week, you guys with Q. Let's say we had Q and it was like hooked up to Venmo. And like every rec that you put in Q, you just hit like this submit button, and every rec was worth like $20 to $50. And every time at the end of the week, Jordan, you hit submit for all the new recs you got, we would just Venmo you for all the recs. That'd be pretty awesome. You'd be pretty motivated to get one more, right? You'd be pretty motivated. Like when you got 10 or you got 20, like you look at it differently, but I want you guys to understand that recommendations are money. So once that clicked for me, when I went to my first test, I knew I needed to get recs, but then I started like, that's actually how I build my business. And there's a difference mentality wise versus short-term money and long-term money. Okay. So Donovan, you might be thinking short-term money sometimes, or maybe you're thinking different now, but like when you're brand new, signature set, homemaker, boom, cash, that's great. But you know what? I want to build a long-term business because $300 is great for you in a homemaker, but I'd rather see you make 30 grand off the recommendation thing. You know, you keep exploding that part. That's a lot better. That's a lot more exciting. Okay. So everybody's nodding at me like, yeah, Evan, that makes sense. So hopefully that's just a light bulb right there for you. Like, and I'm going to talk today about how to get customers to like you. Okay. So I'm gonna give you some techniques here that are going to be good. And you're like, yeah, can you make people like you more? Yes, Michael. Yes, you can. Just like you can make people not like you. All right. And are you all going like, Evan, are you saying that like sometimes when I don't get recs, that's because the customer doesn't like me that much or trust me? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay. So sorry, that's just the reality. So Vanessa, you want to get in a space where the customer wants to help you. They're on your team. And I'm going to share a lot of stuff today that's going to help with that. All right. So here we go. First ticket here, Mr. Michael, you got to get good with this. Rapport building. Has anybody ever felt awkward during the rapport building of the demo? Like it's forced, or you get to a position where it's awkward to transition into the demo. Like Hannah, you're chatting with them, you're talking to Mrs. Leon, whatever. You say, hey, yeah. And then you're like, all right, well, now I got to start selling you some Cutco. And it's just kind of like an awkward, like, all right, now it's time for me to close you, you know, like I'm going to show you this product and you're going to buy it today. And it becomes awkward for people. So I want to make sure I'm going to teach you a technique. It's a way, Marissa, that you can screenshot this, but again, I will share all these notes with you. And you can actually follow this, Nita, every single time you do a demo. So it's formulaic and you can just plug and play. But that's why I'll say for you, Adam, it's like, don't try to do everything in these next slides on your next demo. But here's a good place to start. Okay, here's the general concept, Mariah, is that first I'm going to open. Okay, I'm going to, let me do this. I'm going to change this now for Zoom. I'm going to start demo, and then you're going to stop demo. Then you're going to say thank you. You're going to show gratitude to the customer. Have you heard of Cutco? I'm not a knife salesperson. Share while I'm working. Mrs. Jones, do you mind if I share some of my goals with you? Okay, so let me explain what I mean by this. Raquel, if I'm doing a demo with you and I'm building rapport and getting a chance to get to know you, one of the easiest transition phrases is, you know, a lot of times they're going to go, well, what are you here to show me? Raquel, what do you got? You know, and you're, okay, great. All right, Miss Jones, I'm so great. I'm excited to show you. Let's get let's get started. Okay. And then when you say, let's get started, can you guys see how this just switched to my demo? Like my presentation manual, basically, right? Oh, okay, Raquel, let's go ahead and get started. Actually, you know what? Before I do, okay, so that's what I mean by start your demo, Marissa, and then stop your demo. Because Vanessa, as soon as you start your demo, it's like business, right? You're chatting, you're loving it with them, and then it's like business time, right? And so I want to break that pattern. Have any of you guys felt like from the beginning the customer didn't want to buy? They weren't open to purchasing, they weren't open to giving you recs, they were just letting you run through it. They even said it to you, Michael. Oh, just show, like, I know you get paid to practice. And they're kind of that vibe. Never do your demo at that point. You got to break that pattern immediately and get them into an open space. Okay. So when I start my demo, Donovan, hey, let's go ahead and get started actually. And then I'll pull away from the screen just like I did. And then what I'll do is exactly what I just went through with you guys. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say thank you. Okay. People love to have a gratitude expressed for them. It's like a currency. So show gratitude because they're taking time out of their day. So I'm going to express gratitude. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's been crazy season. Vanessa, I know you got 5 kids at home and things are going crazy. Whatever is their situation, but I really want to thank you. Okay, great. So then they have that part, which is really good. Now, the next thing that I want to make sure that I'm doing with my customer is I'm showing them hey, have you ever heard of Cutco before, Mariah? Now, this is a good place for you, and there's an opportunity here. If they say no, then Craig goes, I cannot wait to show you. And this has to be genuine enthusiasm because Kono, if you're excited about it, then it allows them to get excited about it, right? And if you're genuinely excited for them to own the product and get it, you're going to sell a lot more Cutco, right? If you at all run through the motions, you're going to fail, right? So if they see, Jacob, if they see that you want them to own it because you're trying to sell, like they actually will, that'll resonate for them, okay? So you want to do it enthusiastically. If they say, yeah, I have heard of Cutco before, right? I know some friends that have it or whatever. Then Nita goes, oh, perfect. Okay, so you've already heard how good it is. But you haven't seen it before, Nita? Oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you that. You're going to get a kick out of it. We're going to have a lot of fun. So I'm kind of warming up the demo and opening them up to the process, okay? Which also opens them up to the process of giving me recommendations too. Because if I do a better demo, they want to recommend me to more people. So obviously we can draw that line. By the way, Miss Raquel, I'm not a knife salesperson. Okay. By the way, I'm not a knife salesperson. And the reason why we say that is because it's a bit disarming. Now, this is sort of for college students, but when I was in school, I was 18, 19, 20 selling Cutco, and I saw like some of my buddies' parents and stuff like that. Some of them kind of looked at me like, maybe Hannah, they looked at you like, what are you doing? Like, what have you gotten yourself involved with here? Like, what's going on? Like, they look at you different, and it's kind of disarming to do that. So when you say I'm not a knife salesperson, it's disarming in the fact that it gives me an opportunity to share with them why I'm really working. Okay. So then it becomes away from income and it opens them up to the other purposes. What are my motivations and the whys behind what it is that I'm doing? So I share this. I say, okay, Mrs. Jones, by the way, I'm not a knife salesperson. The reason why I'm working with Cutco right now, Nita, is because of blank, blank, blank. Right. And then this is where you have your genuine reasons. So for me, I was like, Mrs. Jones, I'm paying my way through Marquette. They have internships and scholarships, a leadership academy, and I'll show you how to do these. Okay. And then it's, hey, Mrs. Jones, by the way, Miss Raquel, do you mind if I share a few of my goals with you? Now, this part's already in the script, right? But there's a little bit more warm up here. Now, what I'm going to give all of you right now are these slides. Now, some of you might have seen these at a workshop. Okay. These are slides that I created. For me personally, if I was doing a demo, all of you are going to have access to these slides. Okay. You're going to have them in the drive. So now, Hannah, you can take these, make a copy for yourself, doctor them up, dress them up, picture of you, picture at school with your friends, your siblings, your whatever's important to you. And so it gives them a little bit of a scope on you. Now, Michael, don't spend 15 minutes doing this, but 1 or 2 minutes is cool. So they have a little thing with you. So you screen share, and this would be more advanced goal sharing, right? So I can share about, I want to be a businessman. In this case, here's my wife, Annie. Here's my kids, Larkin and Lars, right? When we were on vacation, Miss Jones, here, a couple of personal goals for me. And then I can share, right? Buying first house, right? I want to travel. I love great food, right? I want to be a businessman. I want to run my own business, whatever it is for you. So you can pick some things online. The reason why I'm working with Cutco too, Miss Raquel, is because they have an All-American Scholarship program that I get to compete for, which is really great. And then also they have this really cool thing called the Leadership Academy. So now, Nita, you can articulate this to a customer. I actually just got to a special meeting with the DVM with Evan Keller, and I'm trying to get on his radar. And the more demos I do and the more I sell, I can actually get a chance to earn a spot into the Leadership Academy, which will look really good on my resume. Now you can actually share your goals, right? So I just put examples in here. You can make it your own, but you can always share your goal. I'm trying to get to this by the end of the month, or January goal. We have a sales contest. I'm trying to get introduced, Nita, to 1,000 new customers. You can leave that one there if you like it, because that plants a seed for what? For recommendations, right? So right there, it's like, I'm doing it in a way that's not like, I'm not saying I need a lot of customers to her. Like, I'm not asking her right there, but she knows, right? And then my long-term Cutco goal right now is become a branch manager, or fill in the blank for whatever it is that you want to do. So you need to get clear on that. And then over here, you guys, I just have some thermometers. These are old ones. You just take one and you make a copy. Anita, you could do just like this. You could do my goal for the month of January, right? Or you could do my goal for 2021, or we have another sales contest that comes up, right? That you want to plug in there. So you can do whatever you would like. All right. So I'll just do January goal, right? At least for now. And then you can plug in sales goal, demo. And then I got this nice little thermometer right here. So you can actually start to fill it in. So as you sell more, I can go, oh, Raquel, look, I'm already at 10,000. My goal is to get to 20,000. So if you want to go ahead and buy the other $10,000 today, that'd be great. I could give you a good deal, right? So that plants a buying seed. Okay. Thumbs up. Is that good for everybody on that? All right, cool. And then also, I think this will be a light bulb for you. You guys know the sponsorship. Now you got a tracking for it. Okay, so Miss Nita gives me, 10 recommendations at the end. I can actually put her name in here. Is that cool? And this is a screenshot you can send to your manager once you get 50, so you can win the award, and then you can do it all over again. So now you actually have something to show. Is that cool? The other part too, Vanessa, that's really good about that scholarship right there is that the sponsorship is I'm going, Mrs. Jones, look at all these other people that sponsored me. So actually, Ms. Jones, you don't have to get anything today, and you can still be a sponsor for me. You can still help me out. So now you have something visual to show, which is really, really great. Okay. Is that helpful? Just right there to be able to do that opening. Okay. Start your demo the right way. And then your assignment, SLDMers, is to make your own slides for that, 4 or 5 slides for your personal stuff that you could just do the Google Slides or a Keynote, whatever you want, and just something else to share. So now you have something behind it, Jacob, when you're sharing your goals with that customer, something real that's there. They can show what is about you, because it can't just be there just to sell Cutco for you to make income. It's like, why else are you working with it? So anyway, that's important. Okay. Next thing I'm going to show you here is this. We're going to do this one. Okay, we're going to do the magic phrase. All right, we're going to do magic phrase. I have this and then something else to show you. All right. Anybody gotten to the end of the demo and the customer was surprised that you were going to ask for recommendations? Has anybody experienced that? Where they just like it was almost like, I can't believe you're asking me for recs. Like, I just bought something. Like, I can't believe you're even doing that, One of the worst things you can do is surprise a Mac. Okay, don't surprise Max. They don't like that. Don't surprise Mrs. Jones. If I surprise, my wife doesn't like surprises. She doesn't like that. If I surprise her, she's like, don't do that. I don't like that. So just be aware of that most people don't want to be surprised at the end. So you want to plant the seeds, Jacob. You want to lay the groundwork. And I want to make sure I'm very direct about that. So I'm going to give you guys the magic phrase. Okay. So Skylar, you're allowed to use this phrase now, but it's going to take some rehearsal. Now, frankly, since we do all this on Zoom, if you want to, you could shorten your Zoom screen. You could actually have the document up right on your screen. So you could just read the damn thing, and that's cool. But this is something that would take some rehearsal. So I'll show you guys what this is going to look like. And again, you're going to have this doc, but here's my magical lead phrase. Okay. This is said before you play the video on the vector demo. All right. And it's a replacement of basically the last line. And do you see right here, it says transition to the demo? I just took a screenshot out of the manual. This should look familiar to all of you. Okay. This screenshot in the manual, let me just zoom in a little more. Is this clear for you guys to read? Like I said, on the phone, you don't have to get anything, but if you see something you like, oh, by the way, Nyala, I only work through referrals. So my biggest goal today is that you like me and Cutco enough to recommend me some friends, right? So we've planted like a little seed, but it's kind of weak. So we're going to strengthen that right now. So here's the way that we do it. So in replacement right here, everybody, right here, SLDMers, this is where this goes. This is where the magic phrase goes. So Mariah, now you can say this before you show the video. Oh, Mrs. Jones, hey, by the way, you might not know this, but we're actually a member of the DSA. Also, by the way, Nita, you might not know this. Adam, you might not know this. Okay, we're a member of the DSA, which is the Direct Selling Association. We're also a member of the Better Business Bureau. These are two organizations that monitor ethical practices of U.S. companies. We have an excellent record with both. That means, Nyala, we don't do any door-to-door and we don't do any telemarketing at all. So actually the only way that I can continue to compete for that scholarship, hey, Donovan, the only way I can continue towards those goals I just told you about a moment ago, right? So I'm making sure they understand, like, this is how they help me on the demo, because I want to make sure it's really clear for them, is I say, is if I'm personally recommended to other people by each customer, Raquel, just like I was recommended to you by Mariah. So Nita, this line works really well when you start seeing recommendations. Yes? Because then you're also like slamming that home again, right? Oh yeah, just like so-and-so recommended me to you. Oh yeah, then they draw that line. Okay, cool. So this is the money part. This is the magic part. So Nyala is going to say, so Mrs. Jones, at the end of the presentation, I'm going to ask you to recommend me to, I don't know, like 10, 20, 30 people. Nyala, this is said with a big old fat smile on your face, okay? And hey, none of you at this meeting are allowed to say something weak, like 5, 7, 10, 15. Those are weak, wimpy numbers. Do not say that, okay? Do not. Because if we ask for something more, we set a higher expectation. If Hannah says 30, she might give you 10. You understand? Just like my daughter Larkin, who asked me for cookies, Dad, could I have 10 cookies tonight? No, that is absurd request. Here's 3. Right? But if she said, could I have 1, she gets 1 cookie. You guys track with that? So I ask for more than I'm gonna get, but I'm gonna set the expectation. Also, when Craig says that, there's an expectation like, oh, I guess people give a lot of leads. So I'm really saying, like, there's a lot of things going on here with this, okay? Now, the last part here is Craig is gonna go, and this is the money part. You go, and by the way, Mrs. Jones, if I don't do a good job, if you don't like the product, Nita, or you just don't like me, I say it with a big old smile on my face, like, how could they not like me, right? I don't want you to recommend me to anybody. But Mariah, if you feel like I did a good job, if you like the presentation, or if you just like me, okay? And then Nita, how do you say that? You already know. It's like, or if you just like me, okay, then I'm going to ask you to recommend me to as many people as possible at the end, because it totally helps me. I just wanted to give you a heads up. Cool? Strong, direct, right? And all this is said with big smile on your face, the whole thing. Okay, so remember, you guys, 10, 20, 30. And if you don't like me or the product, Donovan, don't recommend anybody. But if you like the product or you like the presentation or you just like me, I'm going to ask you to recommend me to as many people as you can think of at the end, because it totally helps me out. Skylar, I just want to give you a heads up. Cool. Now, what most customers say, they go, oh, yeah, cool. All right, awesome. Marissa, you know what happens now? After you ask for the order and you go, by the way, Miss Jones, how'd you like my presentation today? Now, Miss Jones, there's one more very important part. You know what sometimes they say, Mariah? Craig, is this the part where I give you the names? How many of you guys would like that? You're like, oh yeah, I've done my approach. Yeah, like, let me just get my pen out for you real quick. I'm ready. Let's roll. That is a beautiful thing, because you've set that foundation so strong, they're expecting it, right? But we set it up in the beginning. If you don't talk about recommendations all throughout the demo, then they're not expecting them, okay? So make sure that we're doing that. Is that helpful? Anybody looking forward to using that? Like, oh, I got the magic bullet, right? Well, it's no real magic bullet, but it's certainly helpful to do that. But you can imagine, Jacob, on your first demo, like, dude, rehearse that a couple times. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to fumble and bumble the entire way. You want to deliver it with a little bit, so practice it a little bit. Please don't give this magic phrase to anybody else on your team that has not come to the Sldm. This is for Sldm and above. Please and thank you. Okay. Because I'm obviously going to share this drive link with you guys. So please don't share it with anybody else. Okay, so the next thing that I'm gonna teach you tonight when it comes to recommendations, I have one more topic that I'm gonna go over here, and I just want to talk about the order of recommendations here for you. No, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do something different. We're gonna switch gears to this just because I'm looking at the time, and I'm gonna do two combinations here with recommendations and sales. All right, so everybody ready? This is the good stuff here. This is really good. So here's what goes down in your notes, 60-40. Okay, 60-40. And what I want you to do is percentage wise. So 60%, 40%. So this is now the breakdown of how you're going to look at giving free stuff to your customers. Okay, now that you're going to learn this at the Sldm, you have this forever. Like literally you can use this on every demo. You don't have to call for permission or anything like that. So there's a couple of really important points for you. The first important point for you to understand is that when we give away Cutco for free, here are some rough things for you to look at, okay? So Nita, if a customer spends $1,000 retail on Cutco, you're okay giving away 20% of this price in free stuff. That would be obviously $200. If a customer spends $500, Mariah, a real quick math in your head, you could give them what? $100 worth of Cutco. Here's another cheat code for you guys. Whatever the customer has on the 5-pay, you can give them that in free stuff. That is a nice cheat code to always use. It'll always process. It's always fine. Miss Hannah, if you get your signature set today, it's $360, and you can actually get $360 worth of free Cutco with your order today, right? If they can't like decide what they're going to get. So it's a really nice, really easy way, clean way to do that. What if your customer is spending $10,000 on Cutco? They get $2,000 for the free stuff, right? They could get that. All right. So that's important for you to know. Now, after this today, all of you get a chance to up that. So what I'm going to tell you for Raquel, you can do extra stuff for free. So you can go up to 300. You don't have to call your manager for this, Adam. You don't have to call your manager, Anita, for this. That's not necessary. You can just go, Irene, this is good for you now. You can give away up to 30%. Okay. Now, okay, so that helps Marissa do more deals. But if you go, well, why would I want to give away $300 more? Like, Evan, doesn't that mean I make less? Is anybody already thinking that way? Okay, my Scrooges on this Zoom, you're like, I don't want to give away anything. I want all the CPO. No, come back to this 60-40 rule. And so here's the new rule that I want all of you to use. Use 60% of your free stuff for Recs and 40% of your free stuff available for sales. Okay. So 60% for Recs and 60% for sales. So watch as your light bulb comes on. You all right now at this point, Michael, you're giving away Mrs. Jones free stuff. So she what? So she buys something, right? Over here, I'm giving away free stuff to get more recommendations. Do you see that shift right there and the power of that? Because how many of you have told customers about a sponsorship, right? Your scholarship, right? Become a sponsor. What's like, well, Melissa, that's a good thing, but they don't actually get anything out of that. Do you think they'd be more fired up if they got something out of the deal? Yeah, they certainly would be, right? So what am I teaching you how to do right now, Irene? Bribe your customers for recommendations. Okay. But this is bribe with a positive connotation. It's like, hey, Irene, you're going to hook me up with 20 names. I'm going to hook you up. You're going to hook me up with 50 names. I'm going to hook you up with some Cutco for doing that because I want to incentivize the customers that can go big. I want them to go big. The customers that know a lot of people, I want to do it. How many of you got more than 20 names on a demo? 20 recs. I love that. Not enough hands. So after today, let's change it a little bit, right? So I've had many times in my career, 20, 30, 40, 50. I've had several hundreds in my career, several in the 60s and the 70s and things like that. Now, this takes more time. But guess what? The customer that's in a rush, but now she finds out she's going to get a bunch of free stuff. Imagine how her schedule opens. Imagine how she finds her other cell phone Skylar. It's like, oh, all the names are hidden in here, but now you're giving me free stuff. So I'll give you these ones. These are the names I wasn't going to give you, but now I'm going to give them to you. Okay. Because I want as many as I possibly can. So here's the easiest way to do it. What's the rule, everybody? 60-40. So real quick, let me just do this. Quick thing for you guys. Okay, your customer, let's just say your customer's spending $2,000, right? They're buying a signature set. Okay, that's great. That's great. How much free stuff am I allowed to give? Well, initially it was this, right? Because that was 20%. But now what are you guys able to do? Well, you're able to give away 30% of this, right? So what's 30% of this number? Everybody, you know you're gonna do math today? You can give 600. That is a lot of Cutco, Adam, to get away just to do that. By the way, if you need to give away $600 just to sell the damn signature set, that's a lot. Okay, you should be able to close that sale, Nita, without giving them $600 of free Cutco. But again, if you need to do it, you can do it. But here's what you do. Now, Nita's super smart. I can tell just by looking at you. You start to split this up. You go, oh, I'm going to use 40% of that for sales, and I'm going to use 60% of that for what? For Recs. So what can I really do here? Now I really need to do my math, but you can do this real quick. Okay, so what's 40%, everybody, of 600? Well, that is $240, okay? And the other 60% is going to be my difference, right? It's going to be $260. I believe that's accurate. Hopefully it's close. Maybe that's 360. Is that right? That looks more right. Okay, cool. So there we go. So now Nita is using this to make the sale. What is this? Entertainer pack. This is extra steak knives. This is a wine opener, a cheese knife, another gadget, and an extra pair of super shears. This is a gift for her husband. This is a whatever, right? Does everybody know a lot of the products already came back? Everybody aware of this? The stuff we weren't selling before? I think Riverside, your team's getting that announced tonight. Oops, I spoiled the surprise. So you're going to hear that tonight at your team meeting. But anyway, you can do this, Marissa, right? Give them this free stuff. But here's the idea. Everybody save this if you can. Save that little extra. So now what you can do is Marissa's asking for names, and Mrs. Jones, hey, if you give me 10 names, Mrs. Jones, you can become a sponsor, right? And some of you are saying, hey, if you get 15 names, I can give you a peeler. But now Irene has this in her tool belt, right? So she only gave this away for free to the customer. So she got a lot of extra room. So now what do? Mrs. Jones, oh, by the way, Irene, if you get to 20 names today, you know that cheese knife that you weren't gonna buy, but you were liking it? I can give that to you for free. Now they're motivated, right? Because something you really want. And then Nita, she's like, oh, wait, I get free cacao? I'm like, yeah, you do. Okay, cool. Then when they get here, Adam, what does Adam say? Kono, what do you say? The key phrase is, oh, by the way, Mrs. Jones, I can keep going. And they go, what do you mean? Okay, well, Mrs. Jones, I noticed today that you also like the wine opener, right? I'm okay still giving this away. I'm well below my 360. Is everybody tracking with me here? I got all this to give away to use for Rex, and I'm totally fine to do that. Okay, and then when she gets to 30, Kona, what do you say? Oh, by the way, Miss Jones, I can keep going, right? And then this is how you can get those increments. And yes, Adam, you're giving away more Cutco along the way, but who cares? You're utilizing it in its best ability to generate more business. Okay. And then you could do some, I'll give you an extra pair of shears. I know you get your signature, but it's always good to have another pair of shears. And Mrs. Jones, by the way, if you break my record today, I'll go ahead and throw in the Hardy Slicer for your husband for his birthday coming up. Now she's really motivated, right? She got her free stuff with her order. Now she's getting all this extra stuff for the names that she's giving. I am hooking her up. Okay. Now, am I utilizing more of this? Yes. Am I making a little bit more on that initial sale? Yes. But Hannah, what would you rather have? Would you rather give away $400 for 5 leads or $600 and have her break your record? That's a no-brainer, right? So now here is the key. The light bulb for all of you is utilize free stuff to get more names. So my ticket, Michael, is I always found out what they really liked and I never sold it to them. I'm gonna say that again. I found out what they really wanted and I never sold it to them. I was like, oh, wait, I'm going to let you get that one for free. What else do you like? Oh, okay, Mrs. Jones, I know you really wanted to get this like XYZ, the spatula spreader on your order. If you get to 20 names, I can just throw it in for free for you. Boom. Is that okay for everybody? Is that helpful? Now, is that like light bulb for you? Like, I didn't even think about giving away free stuff to like, bribe the customer. It's so positive. All right. I'm going to teach one more thing for today as I look at the time here. So, and then after this, you guys, I'm going to post everything in the chat. Okay. So you can do that. So I'm going to talk about how to sell a new set. Okay. So with this, which will also help you start higher. So that way you have more orders with your customers and you can give away more free stuff for your Rex. Okay. So here's how this works. We're going to talk about selling a new set, and this is how to get 4-digit CPO every time. Okay, we like 4-digit CPO, right? Where your order is at least $1,000+. Okay, we like these. These are really good orders. All right, and if you can imagine how the more kitchen systems that you sell, it's really going to add up. Okay, so where you guys are initially going to start is here. Okay, so here's a good example of this. All right, is the kitchen system. You want to start in this process with your client. And most of you are starting here, right? Eventually, we'll talk about how to even start here with your customers as well. But the kitchen system lives right here. Okay, so I'm going to show you all what the kitchen system is. So what the kitchen system is basically going to be a package deal. And what you're going to do with your customer is we're going to show how to make a bundle. You guys all know what bundling is, right? Just like when you get a Happy Meal or something like that, which is kind of a silly example, but it works. Okay, so I get better deal, better bang for my buck, and if I buy it all together, I'm going to save a lot more money. So here's what's going to happen for all of you when you present this. It's basically going to be a new dropdown. Did my ultimate set come up here? Beautiful. So right here, everybody has been to this part where you start to close the order, right? So we do our Wusthof and then we do our homemaker sets, right? Okay, so what you are all looking at right now, Marissa, this is the kitchen system. The kitchen system is the homemaker +8. It is the entertainer pack, and it's the super shears. How many of you guys are giving away shears or entertainer pack as a free item with the homemaker? Yeah, okay, cool. So that is still allowed to do, but now we're gonna make an adjustment on this Kono. So instead of showing the homemaker first, you're gonna show the kitchen system, okay? You're going to show the kitchen system. So what you're going to do with your customer is this. Wusthof comparison, right? Build up the value of our competitor. Ms. Jones, it should be $4,000 if it were sold in stores. Good thing that it's not. Now, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to show you our most popular set. SLDMers, what is our most popular set? Now that you're going to tell the customer. The kitchen system, right? So you need to make a little adjustment here in your phrasing, right? So Mr. Craig, let me show you our most popular set, okay? It's called our kitchen system. And it's our homemaker +8 set, which I just explained earlier, has a 10 tools with 8 table knives and a block. Listen, everybody, what I say right here. Our homemaker set has the 10 pieces that come in a block with the 8 table knives, or Adam, you have the option of doing it without the table knives, but they just come in a drawer. Everybody catch what I just said right there. So either way, I'm selling a homemaker +8. There is no basic homemaker option when I was presenting it. Yes, I can do that as a drop down to make it cheaper, but Nita, even if they're like, oh, I kind of like the one without those in the bottom, cool, the table knives come separate. You can put them in your drawer with your other forks and spoons. Now it's still $13.26 either way. Y'all with me on that? Okay. Now, of course, if the customer's like, well, Irene, I don't want table knives, then you're not going to sell her table knives, right? You can just get her the basic one. I'm just saying what I present to the customer is a homemaker +8, like that's the only set. Okay. And then I say, Miss Irene, our kitchen system also comes with our really popular gadgets that complete it. Comes with the cheese knife, ice cream scoop, peeler, and our pizza cutter. Okay. And it also comes with our kitchen shears as well. Now, the great thing about that set is that it doesn't cost $4,000, Miss Marissa. In fact, it doesn't even cost close to what our competitor Wusthof is of the $3,300 that you'll find in stores or online. Our kitchen system is only, and then here's going to be your pricing. Now, again, you guys don't worry about getting this all down right now because I'm going to share these slides with you here. But our kitchen system is going to look like this. So Irene, here's your new price for the homemaker, okay? For the kitchen system, the homemaker kitchen system. So Kono, the first price you're quoting them here is $16.71. Now I need to teach you something about this, okay? First, don't be afraid of doing this, Nita, because the price is higher, right? You've probably had a customer say, I can't afford the homemaker at $13.26. Well, don't think that you can't do a higher price. That's a trap for your brain, okay? You want to present the higher price. So because it gives you room, if you want to put that in your notes. I present the higher price because it gives me room. And so what am I doing right here, Irene? Instead of just selling them the homemaker set and giving them something for free, what am I doing? I'm just packaging it all together. Hey, Irene, when you get this kitchen system today, you get your homemaker set, right? And then they also get the entertainer pack and the super shears. Does everybody see that down there? So what am I doing with these ones, everybody? I'm charging them for them. You see that? Nita, I'm not giving them for free. I'm charging them for those products. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's a piece of Cutco that's guaranteed forever. It's highly valued. I'm just packaging the deal. But here's the pricing. If you guys are wondering, here's the price of the entertainer pack. Here's the price of the super shears. Here's the total price, $16.71. We okay, everybody? Cool. Now, when they're doing that, what happens? What if they say yes right here? Well, Donovan, you just sold the kitchen system. Can they get free stuff with that? Hell yes. How do you figure that out? You take 20 or 30% of $16.71. Is everybody tracking with me on that to figure that out? What's the other cheat code, everybody? What's the cheat code of free stuff? Right there, yeah? Irene can just say, and Mrs. Jones, your payment's going to be $362. But the cool part is when you get that today, I can actually give you as much free stuff as your first payment of Cutco. So Miss Nina, you can get about $350 worth of free Cutco when you get that today. We can pick out whatever you want. Shopping spree. Does Mrs. Jones like shopping spree? Of course. Okay, so that's that part. Now, is that cool? That's your new starting point. Now, SLDMers. I'm going to teach you some sales stuff here, okay, that are really important, okay? in your notes, start high, end high. Start high, end high. Okay. The other thing in typical customer psychology, like consumer psychology, whatever book you read about how consumers actually operate with their purchasing behavior, they will actually hesitate or say no anywhere from 3 to 7 times, Marissa, before they say yes. That's very common. Like even Craig, when you're selling loans, you probably experience that. We're like, I don't know. And then you go back and forth on closing costs. And I don't know this, how many points I got. I don't know. And then finally you close it. It's not like the first time. Have any of you guys closed a homemaker where you're like, hey, it's 1326, you want to get it? And they're like, yeah. And it was super easy. Has anybody experienced that? But everybody knows that you haven't experienced it a lot, right, Michael? It's kind of rare. Most customers are going to work a good deal. They're going to hesitate. Is everybody aware of this? Okay, so what did I teach you right here? Start high, end high. So what do we want to learn from this process? Well, what do we want to learn here is that this, Kona, where are you starting? Well, we start with the kitchen system, right? Now, Irene, if they say no, where do you go? Well, now we start the dropping down process, okay? We start the dropping down process. Now, SLDMers, where do I go? Okay, they said no to the kitchen system. What do I show them next? What are you thinking? Post in my chat. Okay, they said no to the kitchen system. I got to show them the next thing. What's the next option you think we're going to show them? Yeah. Some of you guys are saying homemaker plus 8, right? No, that's not what I'm going to show them. Okay. What I'm going to show them is what I'm going to teach you here. I'm going to go, Mrs. Jones, Irene, you want to get the kitchen system? Oh, 362 is a little bit too much. Okay. Out of your butt. No problem at all, Mrs. Jones. If it's cool with you, I'll show you through all the options. I just like to show everybody the best stuff. But another option for you, Mrs. Jones, is what? What does this say, everybody? Miss Nita, you got another drop down here. We got the mini kitchen system. So what are they doing here? I already did all math for you guys. So Raquel, there's a nice drop down. So what did we do in this option? We just peeled off the super shears. And I'm going to give the super shears for free. Is everybody tracking with me? Just give me a nod like I didn't lose anybody on that one step. Now I'm just charging them for the homemaker and the entertainer pack, and I give them the shears for free. Y'all with me? And then I have the final price. I have the payment. I have the broken down by the week. Okay. Is that cool for everybody? Or Raquel, what if they're not super crazy about the entertainer pack? I also have another version of the mini kitchen system, which would be like, well, they purchase the shears, and you can see this is an even cheaper price, and it goes down to $14.43. Okay, homemaker with shears, and I can give entertainer pack for free or more stuff for free with that. Give me a thumbs up, like, yes, Evan, you have not lost me. This is great. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Cool. Now okay, so Donovan, you're going kitchen system, right? Then you're going mini kitchen system. Okay, everybody, hey, if they don't buy the mini kitchen system, then where do you go? In my chat. If they don't buy the mini kitchen system, then where do you go? Homemaker plus 8. You guys got it, because then there's a nice drop down. Now Hannah can go, Mrs. Jones, if you don't want to add those on, no problem. A lot of customers wait. You can actually just get the homemaker set today. And the cool part is you could still pick either one of those options as your free option. It's only $13.26. It's $2.89 today. It's $70. Do you want to do that one? Is that one better for you guys? How many no's have I just gotten out of the way, by the way? Kitchen system, I got a no, right? Mini kitchen system, I already got a couple no's out of the way. Now I'm on the what? Now I'm on the homemaker. Hey, SLDMers, Skylar, they say no to the homemaker plus 8. Now what do I show them? False. Not the galley set. Discounted homemaker. Oh, right. Okay. Some of you are skipping that part. Now, Miss Nita, no more tricks from me, okay? No more tricks for real. If they don't buy the homemaker and the discount, now where do I go? Galley set. Hey, how many no's did I just get? 5. I'm selling a galley. I'm selling a homemaker trade-in. I'm selling a homemaker. Y'all with me on that? So here's the light bulb. You ready? Here's what Mariah's doing. On your demo, you guys are like, homemaker, Irene? No. Okay. Oh, galley? No. Starter? No. There's 3. Custom? No. For the love of God, please help me buy something today. Take mercy on my soul, Irene. Can you get a trimmer today? So for a lot of you, 5 no's for you. Hannah, you're selling a trimmer. 5 no's for me. I'm just on the galley set. 4 no's for me. I'm still on the homemaker set. So just so you guys know, Nyala, you're just controlling this part along the way, but the customer has no idea where you're supposed to go. So the difference from a drop down, Michael, from a kitchen system to a mini kitchen system feels identical to a customer to go from a homemaker to a galley set because it's the next step down. Light bulb for you guys on that. So it doesn't matter, Michael, if they say, I can't afford the kitchen system or the mini or the homemaker on the discount. But then they get to that galley set and they're like, perfect. That is beautiful for me. And then what's a galley set, you guys? What is it, 900 bucks? It's gonna be 700 CPO. Anybody want 700 CPO? This one thing right here will make your average order shoot right through the roof. Tricky part though is, Raquel, you got to show it every time. You got to show the kitchen system every time. Now, eventually we'll show you how to start with the what? The ultimate set, right? There's a lot of options that you can do there with that. And then eventually we'll show you guys kitchen system, like the Cutco kitchen, which is everything, right? Flatware, cookware. And so we got a couple levels to it. We're not doing that today, obviously, as we look at the time, but it's good stuff. Good. Is that helpful? All right. Anybody ready to go do a demo? You're like, oh, shoot, I want to go show. Shoot it. Okay. So I got a couple things for you. I'm going to wrap right now, and then I'm going to send everything to you guys. Okay. So bear with me here. I'm for sure going to go 2 minutes over. Is that okay? Even if it's not okay, I'm going to go 2 minutes over. Okay. So let you guys know a few things here. One of the things I mentioned earlier for everybody is just talking about my objectives, right? So hopefully you understood these today. Like, I know who you are because you filled out your name on the list, right? Educating your future opportunities and increasing your Cutco sales, particularly Anita, with recommendations, increasing your game, and then kitchen system. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Dropping down, start high, end high. That's really great. I also want to remind everybody about our pillars: seek best version, consistent sales, open communication, and this one. One of the easiest ways, Irene, Kono, Nita, Adam, to get on the radar is to help your team with team building. We want to work with a lot of great people in 2021. I make no secret about that. We want to build great organizations, right? And so I want to make sure everybody understands that. So when you guys are all working, please take advantage of this contest. Has everybody seen this contest that you have? Like, this is across my entire division. Some managers might have some different nuance to these types of things, but this is up for grabs for everybody. And Irene, this contest is not just for like Cabo, right? Which we have that trip right there for 8 PRs. Raquel, this contest is year round. So you can always be doing that. You can always be helping do that, which is why it's like, hey, you can share stuff, Kono, on social media once a week or once every other week or whatever the case is, or you hook a buddy up, or just like Jordan, help Jordan with a job. So win a lot of prizes by doing that. If you're in your Fast Start contest, I'm going to encourage you to push hard to get to 10K for the VIP night. We just had Nyala do this. We had Hannah do this. We had Donovan do this. Are you all ready for your night out? I don't know when we're going to do it, by the way. Okay. It's going to be a little bit of time until we can do that. But as soon as restaurants are kicking again, I'm going to treat y'all. And so I want to have a lot of people have an opportunity to do this. All right. So the more, the merrier. There will be other opportunities. Is anybody outside of their Fast Start, like Adam Chandler, I'm looking at you, Raquel, I'm looking at you, Kono, looking at you. There are other opportunities to win my MVP night. But for those that have already won, it's going to be fantastic. Okay. It's going to be an incredible experience. We've done all kinds of different places, and Ruth's Chris, and our last one, we went to Costera, which was right down to the harbor in San Diego. We have amazing experiences for the MVP night. But I really want to treat those people special. So I'm really looking forward to that event, all right, as soon as that is. So we're going to have a great group of people with top leaders. A reminder for everybody to get to Dirty 30 as quick as possible. A reminder for everybody on here to message your manager. And I'll mention that too in your kind of like assignments, if you will. I have a contest for everybody here. Okay, this is just for this group. So provided you filled out that little sheet for me, this is only for this group. So it's a timed contest. It's like first come, first serve. So one person wins. First person to sell a kitchen system. Okay, that's it. First person to sell a kitchen system. And you're going to let me know, because I'm going to show, you're going to actually message me and let me know. It's got to be roll load, of course. And if like 2 people do it at the same time, then I'll look at my timestamp on my WhatsApp just for fairness. But as soon as it's roll load and online, then it's great. So you get your choice. Okay, you get your choice. You can either pick a $150 piece of Cutco that you want. Okay, Vanessa, you call it. You just look on, like, basically any knife that you want that you don't have, and I'll just ship it to you. I'll have my assistant ship it to you, no problem. Cool. So you win a piece of Cutco. That's good. Cutco's better than no Cutco, and Cutco's the best thing since ever. I don't know if you know that, but it is. So now you know. The other option that you can do is you can opt for a networking meeting with me. okay, where we can sit down for 30 or 40 minutes and get some one-on-one time, okay? So you can opt for that. Just so you know, if you win and you choose the Cutco, I will not be offended, okay, Marissa? I won't take that as like a dig that you don't want to spend time with me. That's okay. I'm busy anyway. It's totally fine. I get it. And you want Cutco, like I would want the same thing. But Michael, if you do want a networking opportunity, it can be with me and you, or me and you and Lindsay. You can ask me any questions, help give you tips, anything that you need to help you do better for your business and move up. And obviously, you guys know a lot of times in business, it's not what you know, it's certainly who you know, which is why I talk about getting on my radar a lot. And unfortunately, we don't get together in groups a lot. Like we got a lot of Zoom stuff, but we're not in conference rooms and meetings and events like that. So the best way is to shout at me with CPO, shout at me on WhatsApp. Right. So, hey, this is what's going on. So I'm going to tell you how to stay on my radar here for sure. So let me wrap with this. So that's your contest for you guys. So first one to do it. So the last two slides I'm going to show you here is just talking about DVM networking. Okay. So when I'm looking at the people in the pilot office, like Irene, like I'm already in your coaching chat, you know, but frankly, I don't really look at your coaching chat. And that's not no disrespect to you. It's just if you all saw my WhatsApp, it's absurd. Okay. So I have to be very choosy about like which ones I open and what I read and what I don't read, obviously to protect my time. However, there are ways that you can do that. So if you're in San Diego, Irene, and you drop a set, $500 sale and or 15 plus recs, or I use something at the Sldm, you can at me in that. Nita, if we're not in a DVM networking, if I don't have a three-way WhatsApp message between me, you, and Lindsay, make sure that you get introduced if we don't already have one. And that's a way that you can stay on the radar. Okay. So you want to chirp that as much as you possibly can. If Niala is adding me all the time, Evan just made it rain. Sold another ultimate set. I just got 20 recs. Like you're constantly doing them. Like, oh damn, I probably should pay attention to Niala. Right. So it's an easy way for me to make sure that my eyeballs are going to you so I know who you are, so you stay on the radar. You can always ask your manager, like, hey, is this Evan worthy to like share? You know what? I love all sales, but Michael, I don't need to know if you sold a peeler. Okay, I certainly wouldn't say that's on the radar. Nice job on the peeler. But I do love the success stories. If Jordan's like, man, Evan, I had the roughest demo ever, but I remembered a few things from the Sldm. I fought it out and I still got 13 recommendations. It was great. I use this and I love that. That's a beautiful thing. That's a great thing to do. But sales updates are great for me. Hot recommendation updates, and then any Kono PR updates. I got another friend on the team. I got another friend for an interview. That is an easy way for me to see that as well, just because you're helping build the South Coast family, and that makes me very, very happy. So that's how you stay on the radar. So please be relevant with that as much as possible. And you know, if you're chirping that chat even just once a week or once every other week, that's very, very positive to be doing that. And then here are the final tips or assignments, if you will, is this. Okay, so first thing is use the info. So Irene, like I said before, don't use everything all at once, but pick 3 things that you're going to implement. So here would be an example of that. One thing that I'm going to implement is how I start my demo. Open and close. By the way, thanks, Mrs. Jones. I'm not a knife salesperson. Let me tell you why I'm working. Can I share my goals with you? Okay. Another thing you might want to implement is like making your goal slides. That is one thing to implement. So like I have that to share. Another thing that you can implement is kitchen systems. So like obviously that should be a go-to. Like that is now your jam. You show the kitchen system first, not the homemaker, but the kitchen system. So you'll have all that and, you know, you can review the slides. Or maybe for some of you, it's the magic phrase, right? Like I'm going to work on incorporating that part to give my customers heads up about getting recommendations. Choose what you want, but I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. Be at the next event. Did anybody learn something of value today? Something you didn't know, something that opened your eyes, something you're excited to, it's like, Raquel, get to the next event, right? Nita, get to the next event. Any event that I'm at, I would say be at that event. Okay, so our next big one is kickoff conference on the 16th. By the way, that's with my boss on there too. Dan Cassetta is going to be hosting that the entire West Coast of the country. I know you guys have heard about it a lot at this point. You'll hear more about it Wednesday night or at your team meeting about details for that. I'm so excited. We actually have locked down the #1 rep in the nation. Brandon Brown sold over $1 million worth of Cutco. $1 million in 1 year is what this man did. And he's going to be teaching at this event. So it's like, Nita's like, oh shoot, okay, I'm going to get the goods. Like there's going to be such great stuff that I can get just from that one speaker. There's going to be a bunch of speakers at the event. So we're actually, I don't want you to do demos during that time. I don't want you to be in the field during that time, Irene, because I want you to be able to, sometimes you got to sharpen the axe so you can plow the forest. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to be better at that. So that way you can sharpen your tools so you can do the job better. Message your manager. So this is important. I've said this now, maybe my 5th time. If there's anything you're interested in, we are not mind readers. We have no idea. So if you're interested in TLA, key staff, AMI, or if it's just everything, that's great. And then please post your light bulbs in the chat. Okay, your team chat. And you could post like, here's all, I got a lot of great stuff for the SLDM, and just litter your chats with the light bulbs. I'd love to see that because I'm in all the team chats as well. Also, just in case anybody is interested, I will put the drive link for everybody here. So you'll have all access to all the slides, every single document went over today, and a few other things that are goodies in there for you. So you have all the, everything you need. And then I'm also going to post up, if anybody is interested and you're like at 6 grand or 10 grand or 15 or 20 grand, like some of you or more, and you want to fill out an AMI application to start that process, you can do that. You don't have to, there's no pressure, it's not required. I'm just going to put it there. It's a Google form and you can start filling out that process. We do not get a notification when you get done. So if you're an AM, like an aspiring person in Riverside or North Las Vegas, once you fill out the assistant manager intern application, let your manager know. Okay. If you're in San Diego, then let me know, like, hey, Evan, I filled out the app. It'll let me know to go review the application, then set up a time for a one-on-one to discuss how to get promoted to that role. Is that cool? Everybody, I'm very grateful for you. Thank you for your time. It's nice to meet people today who are new. I see a lot of new faces, as well as some ones that are currently on the team, but use this as an explosive event for you. It's now about like, you got here. Now, what are you going to do when you leave this event? That's most important. So that contest is on for everybody. Okay. Kitchen system as soon as possible. All right. So post up the light bulbs in the chats, and I will see all of you very, very soon. Bye. Adios. Sabrina, thank you. Thank you, Sabrina. Appreciate you. See you later, everybody. Have a good day.